Is it working for you?
Okay, it's working now.
What, the
Yes.
screen?
Yeah, because
Oh,
for me
boy.
it's still saying waiting.
Nah,
Sweet.
it's still saying waiting for me here.
Woo.
Now hopefully it'll pop up in YouTube. It can actually go live.
second.
Maybe it's just YouTube being retarded and didn't activate. Aha, there we go.
Okay. Woo.
Alright, it's working.
Let's.
Yeet, boys. Okay. Let's see.
There we go. Voices
Is
as
it
working
well?
for you?
Okay, it's working now.
What, the
Yes.
screen?
Yeah, because
Oh,
for me
boy.
it's still saying waiting. Sweet.
Nah, it's
Everything's
still saying
set.
waiting for me here. Yep.
Woo.
I'll let you do the grading if you want, CAD. Now hopefully it'll pop up in YouTube. It can actually go live. Maybe it's just YouTube being retarded
Who's
and
playing?
didn't activate.
Oh, wait.
Aha, there we go.
Woo.
What?
Sorry.
What?
I am sorry. I was kind of going insane because I didn't realize like the audio for my stream was on. Fuck.
Okay.
Everything in order?
Yeah, I think everything is pretty much in order now. So, good evening, whatever audience I have. How many?
Whatever.
Oh, hi, Shankar.
And
Hi, Shanks.
welcome to the stream, ladies and gentlemen, whoever is here.
So,
Today we're going to be talking about a bunch of interesting things, I think.
well,
That are fun ones.
we're going to learn today about what the definition of satire is, especially with
fun.
Kothism's recent video.
Oh dear, his video did not go well in the end of it.
Oh, it's a giant pile of tisms.
Let's introduce ourselves as well. So, the
So
main host of the show, we got CAD himself, one of the good puppers.
Yes, I'm one
Mango?
of the better ones.
Oh,
Oof.
the mini debate shall go on, I guess. Myself, Virtual Shadow, and a very special guest today, Rags.
The little
Hello.
debate happens, it's just gonna be a bunch of... It's just gonna be memes of dogs barking.
Bork.
So before we begin, let's look up the definition of satire because it's actually kind of interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
So apparently satire is the use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to basically just expose people being really stupid. Or just even make fun of like contemporary or topical issues. So
Yeah, it
with
seems
that
to be
said,
the description on the...
Like, making fun of Cinema Sins for pretty much
yeah.
99% of his crap.
So, with that, let's see if Kothism's new video just is really satire.
Prepare your brains, gentlemen. It's
I
going to
know
be a
it's an
fun
unpopular
ride.
opinion,
Oh
but
boy, I
hear me out
can't
on
wait for
this
the
one.
headache.
Our society would benefit enormously from bringing back child labor.
Do we need to be in a
If
watch
you don't know what
together or
that is,
something?
during the
Oh,
Industrial
shit.
Revolution, many
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we need the link, Tad.
I fucking forgot.
I kind of was expecting you to post it as soon as, like, you said, like, let's watch the video so we can all jump in and get started.
Whoops. Okay. Good.
Oh, don't worry, it's only the second stream. It will only go up from here.
Well, why is it that we're asking about the definition of satire?
Well, because many people are apparently just using it as defense for this really terrible video.
I've seen plenty of
Manual
tweets
labor
saying,
jobs.
oh,
Tad,
people don't
stop
get it
unpausing
satire.
it.
So people are trying to defend it in a sense that, these people aren't the audience, so they don't get it satire. And I'm like, all right, let's see if that holds true.
Yeah,
Or not,
it'd be
which I
really
doubt.
interesting to cover.
I know it's an unpopular opinion, but hear me out on this one. Our society would benefit enormously from bringing back child labor. If you don't know what that is, during the
Okay.
Industrial Revolution, many manual labor...
All right, so I guess Kothrix is probably what I'll call him because I guess he decided he'd change his name or whatever for whatever reason.
Yeah, that was weird.
But I guess he has videos in the past where he does things like in defense of pedophiles and stuff like that, and other things that go over very poorly.
Yeah, that was
Because I've
amazing,
looked through
Tism.
I've looked at a lot of the comments on this video, and I've read some stuff on the internet about this video in particular. Um, I think I've heard people say that it's supposed to be satire, but most people don't see. Generally, if it's satire, people get it. But this video is vastly downvoted, and there's actually there's a few people who say, "Oh, it's satire, guys." But generally, with good satire, you don't have to explain, "Oh no, this is just a joke that he's doing. He doesn't really mean all this stuff." And generally, you can tell the difference based on how you construct the video itself. But
Waller did a good job
I
of
haven't
that with like his Gedub video.
Yeah, those
yeah,
are great.
it's generally there's supposed to be maybe outliers who don't get that at satire. It shouldn't be the vast majority of people who don't get that at satire. But because I know him a little bit, I know of Kothrix a little bit. I don't even know if it is satire. Like, he's always been a real contrarian prick.
Controversial.
Yeah.
He's a very unpleasant person.
I
He
still
got into
remember like his
artificial
Fallout
drama of
76
another
video.
fur.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that he
he's-
defended.
Yeah, I really don't get a lot of his stuff. A lot of his, he's not very. I don't think he's very bright. So, this video is an excellent example, I guess. And I suppose we'll find out why, of the opposite of satire done terribly.
Maybe. Can
Because
somebody
the fact that
sorry.
Cut out or something.
because I stopped when someone started. So I guess like, this kind of baffles me. I did a lot of looking around the internet. I did a lot of Google searches on this video and other videos trying to find out if it's actually supposed to be satire. And the vast majority of the internet hasn't picked up on it, or it's so bad that it doesn't even qualify as satire. So let's think with him. I don't know if this is, in earnest or not, because he's that kind of weird person.
I'll admit, I've only discovered this guy recently because of this video, so I don't even know if this is like his.
I've
Like,
known about
normal
Koth
routine
for
or
a
not.
while. I've seen a lot of tism videos.
Yeah, some of his videos are really out there. Anyway, can somebody continue the stream? Continue the video.
I'll do it.
Were cheaper to hire, so doing so became common practice.
Oh, here, let's back up so we can actually get the gist of what he's saying here.
There.
All right, sit back to zero.
Yeah, just go back to the beginning. Let's see why we should bring back child labor. I've heard that he likes to take a devil's advocate position, which is weird considering nobody is. Which is weird because this isn't a discussion that's really being had. But all right, like, if you're gonna take the devil's advocate position, then you want to do your absolute best to bring the best arguments that could possibly be made for a position, because you don't want to take the position of devil's advocate and then represent the other side poorly. It's generally regarded as bad form.
It's just so fucking weird that he just brings this up for whatever reason.
I love how his avatar is even edgier than before. It's
Especially after seeing what he looks like in real life. It's a very it's quite the shift,
Shall we continue from the start?
Yes.
See where it goes. All right, let's do this.
I know it's an unpopular opinion, but hear me out on this one. Our society would benefit enormously from bringing back child labor.
Even the fact he starts off by saying that I know that it's an unpopular opinion, but hear me out. That's not how you start satire.
really
it doesn't.
isn't.
Oh, it gets better from there,
Satire-
Rags.
If you don't know what that is, during the Industrial Revolution, many manual labor jobs were replaced by
You
machines.
still there, Cad? You
Those
cut out
jobs
again.
didn't require heavy lifting, and the machines were...
Sorry,
CAD?
because I wanted to say this, because like the thing about satire is you're very outward about it. Like you're very outward towards
Well,
your
it's
stance.
obvious. Well, I mean, it's obvious.
Yeah.
It should be, at least. That's kind of like the point of satire, is that it's obvious.
Yeah.
That even someone who doesn't regularly watch the content creators stuff, they can tell. Oh yeah, that's satire. I get it.
I mean, people
about-
look at it and go, ha ha ha, that's so silly. Oh, I get it. Yeah, child labor is terrible and horrible. You don't like, you know, people don't, because people look at this video and they're going, what is this guy on about? This guy's insane.
were replaced by machines. Those jobs didn't require heavy lifting, and the machines were simple enough to operate even by children.
I'm sure some of them maybe might have been. Sure.
If memory serves, I think he dives into what they children can do specifically, but this is going off my memory. It's been a couple
When
days
was
already.
Child labor.
I saw a comment that just says, "But just imagine all the money you can make by making those snobby 8-year-olds work in sweatshops."
So the
Just get all the Fortnite people.
was passed in 1938.
Fucking Fortnite.
Okay.
Children typically were cheaper to hire, so doing so became common practice. Now,
Yeah, the reason that children were cheaper to hire is because children are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That's why we have a lot of rules regarding children. You can't make them work too hard. You can't beat them. You can't fuck them because children are stupid and
Children
they
are
can't take
easily
care of
manipulative.
themselves.
Or easily
They're
manipulated.
easily manipulated.
Yeah.
They're not responsible. They can't really fathom a lot of the situations that they're in. They're very, very easy to take advantage of, right?
Generally
and so that's why we
unreliable.
set these rules so you can't exploit children. And child labor is essentially exploitation of children.
Yeah,
A
pretty
child
much.
doesn't know any better. A child doesn't know the value of their own labor. A child is too easy to exploit.
So it's better to get people that are actually with it, which is generally just teenagers and onwards,
kids are
from
really
I don't
cheap.
know, 16 onwards.
Well, it's like kids are cheap to hire because kids don't got to pay no bills, and they don't understand the value of money and what they're doing. So, there you go.
due to some constitutional thing, child labor was outlawed in the
Did he
Due to
just
some
did he just say
constitutional
just
thing?
because of some constitutional thing?
Oh yeah, just because some constitutional thing. It's not like they couldn't comprehend all this stuff or anything.
Like what?
There's some constitutional thing. I mean, that's said in a way. What this is terrible. I don't know if this is satire or not. The delivery of this is
Just
really
remember,
strange.
this is the same guy who made the video in defense of pedophile.
I heard that video started off pretty good, but it went off the rails. I have a copy. I haven't watched it yet, but I need to.
We could watch it afterwards if you guys
Yeah, we
wanted
could.
to.
Yeah, sure, we
Yeah,
could.
sure.
Oh, let's try.
1930s. And I
One
think
video at a
this is
time.
what
though. Let's get this shit sorted.
Yeah,
really
let's get
started
this.
America on its downward
dealt with
was
first.
outlawed in the 1930s. And I think this is what really started
You hear that? A downward spiral.
I
What
don't
downward
hear no-
spiral.
Could
I
you
don't have a
repeat
downward
that?
spiral.
Yeah, we need
I
to
didn't
go
hear
back.
that.
I kind of didn't hear that well.
All
I
right.
didn't hear a downward spiral. I haven't even gotten to this part.
You guys are all on the same number, 25 seconds?
25.
Yes.
All right, hopefully it isn't glitching out.
was outlawed in the 1930s. And I think this is what really started America on its downward spiral. It became cheaper
How
for companies.
did it? How does
The lack of
removing child
He
labor?
doesn't
make America
deliver
have
it
a
in a way
downward
that's
spiral.
satirical.
why?
Do you want me to give one
And
minor
what I've-
spoiler?
and based on the conversations I've had with him, like it's literally impossible to tell if he's a Poe or not.
Jesus.
Would you guys mind if I spoiled one detail about the video?
Sure.
Fine.
He has that kind of tone throughout the entire video.
Fuck.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll be
Oh,
great.
God.
There's no
Man.
tone. There's no tone here.
It really isn't.
It's
I
like
don't know what
this
else
is
to
like
Reading off a script
get
or
up,
something.
get up in church and you're reading from the Bible book to all the people, and you're focused, and there's no inflection on it, and you're just learning how to speak publicly, and there's no life, and there's no rhythm, and there's no no interesting cadence to your voice. There's no
There's more
rise and
life in
fall
a
of it.
turtle video than this.
This,
It's
this
just
all of
delivered in
this talk,
flat, dull.
it's making me think of like I was just recording earlier my script for my Devil May Cry 5 review, because it's like I keep redoing my takes again and again and again because I try to make sure that it's like it just comes out nice.
You wanted to give it energy.
Yeah.
Well, it's dull to listen to, satire or not. And if it is satire, then you have to like. This is why, like this is the thing about satire. It's not easy to do. Not everybody can do it.
To manufacture their products in other countries where child
But this
labor
isn't
is
a good
still
start to
illegal,
it.
which is what we still do today. If we were to bring child labor back to the United States, companies would be able to afford making things here instead. Why should China?
Okay, so
What?
the argument here
I hate
see
it
men's
already,
later.
honestly.
is that other shithole countries use child labor. So a lot of companies will have things manufactured over there. So if we do that over here, if we allow child exploitation over here, then more companies will want to build things here. It's like
Suicide nets? What
That's
are
a
those?
weird argument.
Alright.
It's like okay,
it's a very strange argument.
Hey China, can you give us some of your kids? We need a few child laborers.
it's
no,
like
no, we just we put our own to work is what he's saying, and it's very
Oh,
strange.
no.
it's like in the
That's such an-
Philippines, the
that's
legal
such
age
a-
of consent is like 12 years old. Does that mean that other
Well, it's an
countries should
interesting
have that?
trade-off.
No.
Well, what you're saying is that the trade-off is worth what the result will be. It's worth the result, and we got more and more companies making stuff here anyway. With evil Trump, he's having more stuff built here. Anyway.
Oh, yes, the orange man.
So
Yeah.
we've got that already happening, and you have the trade-off of sure we can have potentially more people building things here, but people aren't gonna let their children work these jobs. Like it's not like it's up to the child. The parents will be like, no, you got to go to school. You have to get an education. You have to learn about the world. You have to be with your family. You have to do kid stuff. You're not going to have a job where you work in a factory or on an assembly line or doing anything like this.
That's the
You'll
thing about
be
child labor.
pleasantly surprised.
It kind of just what's this? It just takes away the fundamental rights that a kid should have.
I mean, what he's saying. Generally, you don't look to countries like China and India as like models of which to build your society around. Generally, human civilization, progresses, and our moral framework adjusts as time goes on, and we learn more and more about what's best for the well-being of people. Which is why it was in 1938 we passed it on the books that child labor wasn't happening. I mean, this idea, it's something that we need to bring back. I mean, this is an argument for slavery. This argument could just as easily be made for slavery.
Yeah, because you could practically just
Make a good
convince the
point.
kid to work for free.
Well, you just tell
This
them.
was bought out by Epic for half a year.
You can tell kids to do things, and they'll do them because they're kids and they're weak and they're easy to exploit. And you can manipulate them, but you don't want to lower your stuff. I mean, even if there's a perceived pragmatic, positive effect from doing something, the negative repercussions of it in terms of society and our children's development are gonna probably vastly outweigh that. And children need to be treated as if they're an investment in the future, because they will grow up and they'll be the ones to do everything that's being done now by adults. So you don't want to sabotage the future by stifling the development of children by saying, instead of going to school and learning and doing all that stuff, you need to be working a job. There are some restrictions. Like you can only work a certain amount of hours a week if you're between like this age and that age, and if you're this age, you can work a certain amount a week. But this is a whole nother level of it. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, this is just a whole nother level of fucking.
There's just
It
too
gets
much-
more interesting as
is-
it goes.
This is just tism. Let's go.
Oh, trust me, boys. This is the tracks that we haven't gone off the rails just yet.
Oh dear.
Chinese children be profiting off of us when we could just hire American children to do the same thing?
Chinese children
Not only
would be
would it give
profiting
them
off of
jobs,
us.
but it would lower price.
I mean,
Chinese
How
children
are
don't earn
children profiting
anything.
off of us?
They're profiting off of the companies, and it's a very gray area about when you have, if you have a third world situation and there is, you know, mass poverty, then there is a gray area, and I'm sure there's an interesting discussion to be had about whether or not it's better to have child labor in a certain scenario. I mean, there's a reason child labor existed at all in the first place. But when you're talking about over here in a first world country, when there's where there's jobs and where there's opportunity and there's a lot of stuff going on, it certainly doesn't fit. It's never good. I don't think child labor is ever like a moral good. Um,
It's
but the
not.
benefits of it somewhere
It
else
really
just
isn't.
wouldn't even measure up to the negatives that we'd have over here because of it. Um, and I would be curious. You know, Chinese children are profiting off of our companies. I would love to know what they're profiting, like what they're
I
actually
don't-
getting paid.
I
It's
don't
probably
get-
peanuts.
I don't get
It's
how
probably
like
basically nothing.
Yeah, I don't get how any child could basically just profit off of a company that knows more than them.
Well, no, we all that's the norm. A lot of people profit off of companies. That's what working for a company is.
I mean,
That's what having a job is.
yeah, but then it's
No,
like
guys,
the-
it's
in the case of
totally
a kid,
millionaire
as we
Chinese
brought
children.
up earlier.
Like the problem isn't that they're profiting off of someone else. Like the idea is when you have in most jobs, you work for somebody, they pay you, you make money off of them, and you provide a service to your employer. So as a result, they make money off of you, and you're both making money. But the employer is the one who has all of the risk for the whole venture, and you as an employee don't really have much risk at all. You lose your job, fine, you can go and get a new one for the most part. So there's a different dynamic between who holds all the risk in that. But when it comes to kids in China, I think it's very strange to frame the argument as Chinese kids are profiting off of our companies, as if that's as
I doubt they even make anything.
like if you're playing devil's advocate, these are really odd reasons to choose. Certainly not the reasons that I would choose. If someone forced me to make a video, Rags, about the moral good and the economic benefits to society from child labor, and I would have to be like, okay, I'd really have to think about it. But I wouldn't have made any of these reasons so far. But maybe we'll get to a point where he makes a reason that I might make if I had to defend the position. But so far,
Not looking good.
no, it isn't.
And this is like 20% of his video.
Prices
Oh.
of various goods for us
Oh,
and
sure.
increase our nation's
Oh, it only gets
GDP.
more fun from there.
About 23% of the population of the U.S. is under 18. That's a huge untapped workforce. People raise the argument, what about school?
Okay, the huge a lot of the population's over 90, like the workforce. Like they're doing things. Like just because you're not actively engaged in the labor workforce doesn't mean that you're not, doing something useful or getting ready to do something useful.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're going
like,
to
that's
education.
The whole
that
point
is
of
getting
going to
them ready.
school is to learn skills and knowledge needed to go to work.
Ah, guys, we don't need that. Just send them off to fucking sweatshops.
And the kind of jobs that a child could do, like he shows pictures of like very young kids. So I assume that's part of the group he's talking about when he says child labor, like actual child labor, I assume.
They don't know how
The
to
Very
read.
young
kind of
children.
jobs that an actual child can do are very, very, very limited, and kids are very bad at them. You'd have to give them the most basic, rudimentary tasks that you possibly could. And one odd thing, maybe he'll touch on it in a second or later in the video, is what happens when you flood an economy or a country's workforce with extremely with unskilled labor as the price of labor goes down. You can't just let a bunch of immigrants come in who are low-skilled workers. You can't just all of a sudden say, oh, kids, now you get a bunch of jobs too, because that cheapens the price of labor, which means the people who already have these jobs can essentially, they're more and more expendable.
It also
And that's not-
it also
that's
ruins
not a
the
good thing.
quality of labor. And it's like there's also this thing that you have to give them time to train.
Well, you have to train everybody. The problem is that the kids can only do extremely basic
They're not
rudimentary
really
tasks,
effective workers.
and they will do them poorly. Like teach a kid to sweep a floor, and it'll take them forever to do it. Even if an adult could do it in 10 seconds. A kid can't be the things that we consider entry level jobs, like being a waiter, being a valet, being a busboy, maybe being working in the service industry, working in McDonald's. These are all things that children cannot do. So the problem with bringing back child labor, especially in today's market, one of the many issues, is that the jobs out there aren't suitable for children, even the most basic ones. Like a kid can't be a waiter. A child doesn't have what it takes to be a waiter. They don't have what it takes to work cash registers and tally up money. They don't have what it takes to be a busboy or to be a valet or to do any of these other tasks. They would essentially have to be babysat by the people who are already there, and they're instead of
And it's like an
being at
employer
school.
wants to spend on that. Like, sure, they can be manipulated, but they still have to spend, invest.
And how many people would be like assigned to watch over these kids if that were to happen? Like, to make sure they don't do other things or whatever. If this was the case, that would also be its
Well, they
own
would
thing.
have
Having
to-
people just watch them.
They'd have to comply with all the safety regulations and a lot of the other work regulations that we have. And kids are really dumb, so that would take a lot of time from people who work there to do. You'd have to watch them,
Yeah,
and their
I'll
parents would
make
have, and they
sure
can't
don't
get to
hurt
work
themselves.
too. Children can't get to work. They can't drive. They can't get on the bus by themselves. So their parents or their guardians would have to take time out of their day every day to
I
go and
don't
get their kids and then bring
Understand
them
how
back.
Paul thought this is a good idea.
Well, this isn't the argument that you made. What you'd have to do is say, okay, if we had to institute child labor, here's all the rules that we'd have to do. Here is what would have to change. Here is what we would have to do that's very specific to bringing back child labor, because children are fucking stupid and they can't take care of themselves like a normal adult does, which completely changes the dynamic of the work environment. Oh well, let's see.
Well, we already know our education system is broken. 37% of Americans are functionally illiterate, so why even
37% of Americans are functionally illiterate. Let me.
And
Even
I'm
if
gonna
you're
take a stab
illiterate,
here.
adults can still do basic labor, can still do basic manual labor.
Nah, guys, we don't need illiterate adults. Let's just throw the fucking little Timmy into the fucking.
Okay, so his numbers are way off.
What's the
he's-
percentages?
It's 14% of the entire adult population cannot read.
Woo! That is huge.
That's a grossly
Where's he getting
Grossly
this
high
number
number.
from?
calculation.
So this is from. Let me see. So yeah, this is that number's way off. I'd be curious where he got his 37%. Let
He
me
doesn't
check.
cite it, does he?
He doesn't cite it. No. And
Nothing in
there's
the
not,
description?
if you show something on the screen that I can look at, that's like an article. That's great. I can just go to Google and type in the article, and boom, it's there. It's essentially citing your source. But I got 14%, which is really, really high. But but I'd have to look into it and see. Well, does this count people who get really, really old and just aren't there mentally still? But yeah, so about 14%.
He doesn't have anything in his
and
description, does he?
And this is 14% of the entire adult population.
14% of the entire adult population. Ooh.
Adult population, yeah. Which seems very, very high. Which is odd. I've never met someone who couldn't read. So I'd have to look into it. So I'm really unsure. But I guess he's going into the idea of our schools suck anyway. So just fuck it.
Another thing is just like, you don't really need reading for every kind of job.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
still
it's
manual
hard
labor.
to fucking be a
which
cleaner and not know how to read.
Adults can still do manual labor. That's the thing. Even if you don't know how to read.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's essentially like if you had to go to a different country and you had to work there and you can't speak the language and you can't read, you could still be like, you put that over there, or pick these crops, or do this basic thing.
You can still show them. so
but I
they know how
guess
to do it.
the main gist of what he's saying here is that the U.S. education system is broken anyway, and it definitely needs a lot of improvements. But I doubt the best thing is to throw the baby out with the bathwater and just say, fuck it, we're not gonna. I mean, you should strive to fix it and improve it and make it better. It's not like the system isn't broken. It just has problems. And you don't throw it out. Like capitalism, it's got problems. It's not broken. You don't just throw out capitalism and say, to hell with it, we're socialists now. I know. You fix the problems that exist within the system that you have.
Improve it, make it better, so it
the law
benefits
has
more
problems.
people of society.
The law has problems. You don't just throw it.
And bother wasting.
My
12
NEAT has
years of
problems.
people's lives.
I don't just hack it off and throw it away. But anyway, I don't think he also covers anything else. If I go off my memory, I think he only covers practically
we're all
just
gonna watch
English
it.
language
Let's just
stuff.
watch it. Let's just watch it.
Then
We're
bother
all gonna
wasting
watch it.
12 years of people's lives. Instead, get them started working early. By the time they're adults, they'll be masters in their craft. Not only will a nation save.
All right, so I guess he's saying. So he's
They're
saying
still less
don't have to-
effective.
don't waste 12 years of their life. Okay, he's saying they're wasting 12 years of their life in school. Interesting.
So instead of fixing that, let's just toss them into the
So
I think
instead, essentially, when you're born and you're young, you need to pick something, and it's the thing that you do. It's your trade, and you stick with it. All right. There's about 1 trillion problems with this. So one of the problems being that who is going to decide what the child wants to do? Who is going to decide what the child is supposed? Because the way that he's framing this is, if we have children who start at a young age to do something, then by the very, very end, 12 years later, they're really, really good at it. It's like,
Eat my son
sure,
into a
maybe.
sweatshop, please.
Also,
The
my
problem
favorite
is
part
that
is
there's
like this
a-
chart. He's showing this chart here. It's convenient how he just zooms it in so that you don't know the data. You just see, oh, it's rising. It must be good.
Well, there's a plateau for skills, and to say that if you start something 12 years later, you're going to be incredible at it. Like maybe for some jobs, certainly, but there's a lot of jobs out there where you start it, and once you get the hang of it, that's basically as best as you'll be at it. Things like cashiers, things like if you work at McDonald's, like how good can you really get at taking orders at McDonald's?
Yeah.
How good can you really get at certain things?
Dead end jobs exist.
Yeah, and another thing, these entry-level jobs, they're not supposed to be careers. You enter the workforce with your lack of experience. You get a job, you get some experience, you learn how the world works, you put yourself through higher schooling if you want to. They're not supposed to be jobs that like adults with kids have. And again, this will just flood those low skill market with an insane amount of labor all at once, which will drive down the cost of labor. And since you have to pay a certain amount of money anyway, you're not going to order a kid to do it because kids can't do these jobs. You're not going to you're going to hire people who can actually do it. You want to get the most value for the money you're paying your employee, which means people aren't going to hire children.
I love Shenko's comment. You must be level 25 before you can advance further in your craft.
What happens if you want to change? What happens if you start off doing X and you're a kid? So who knows what determines whether or not you pick something? Let's say you're a kid and you choose to do job X, and then 10 years go by, and now you're not a kid anymore. You're 18 or you're 20, and you realize, oh, this is a really shitty job, and I don't want to do it, and I don't like it. I want to try something else. Well, this is all you know. This is everything in your life. You don't have the skills that an education has given you to have a diverse set of abilities. You
And
don't
that's the
have the
thing.
problem-solving skills or the education to go and get a different kind of job and apply the skills that you've learned in school. All you know is this one thing, so you can't change. And what happens when the marketplace gets too saturated with that one thing? Well, now you're screwed because you can't get a job because all the job positions are already filled by all the other idiot kids who got into that job when they were 8 years old. I mean, there's so many issues with this. Like, it's definitely not an argument that I'd make.
Another thing that it represents.
There's also this thing where kids don't really know it's not really easy to know what exactly you want in life. Because it's like you could go
Well, yeah,
through.
that's what I was saying. What happens if
Yeah,
you
the
want to
thing
change
is,
your
when
job?
you're a kid, you don't really know about a lot of stuff. You
I
don't
mean, kids
care
think
much
flush
about
toilets are cool and amazing. Like, we don't give them the ability to choose their career path. And this system would essentially set it in stone forever, like they did back in the old days. So you are what your dad was, and your kids will be what you are, and their kids will be what you are. Like, this is like it's like you're locked in. The amount of mobility that would be in this system would be and how would you get like skilled labor? How would you get doctors? How would you get things that require an education to get if kids aren't in school learning?
How do you
Like,
get
why do you think so
Engineering
many
being one of
scientists?
people go
them.
to
How did you get
college?
engineers?
Yeah, I mean,
Construction
like, say what you
worker.
want about the education system, it has its problems, but the United States is essentially the leading country in terms of development and all sorts of all sorts of things. So yeah, the system's not perfect, but it's working really, really well. So to just throw it all out and try something that's essentially ancient is
Ugh.
it's strange. It's really, really strange.
Another
Not
Spending
argument
thing
that
that
millions
I
on
find
education,
interesting is
but
that
the
how
government
the
will
fuck
be
are they going to
actually
operate outside
make
of just anything related to work? Since that's related to what you were talking about before about changing different work. Like, even just going at home, how the fuck can they learn simple stuff just outside of work? That'd be
it
another
have to
issue of its
be.
own.
It's like you have to learn things. I mean, and as a society, functions, and you have all the pieces and all the people in society doing this job, doing this task, doing this, doing that. I mean, how do you teach a kid how to do taxes? You got to teach a kid how to make sure he's not exploited at work. You got to teach a kid all this stuff: how to get to work, how to get back to work, how to talk to people, how to do these tasks. And I mean, like, the burden that this would be on parents is insane, especially nowadays when they're trying to work. Like,
Yeah.
the parents got to work to support the kids. Now the kids are at work, and that brings its own host of problems. It's not like, hey, at least I could dump my kid off at school, and he's going to learn, and he's going to, grow as a person, and he's going to develop all these skills. And while he's at school, I'm working, and then when we're both done, there's a little bit of an overlap, but I go pick him up, and that's that. It definitely not arguments that I'd make. Stuff that just doesn't make sense.
It's crazy.
education, but the government will be actually making money through taxes. President Trump talks about
The government will make money through taxes.
Why
which
does the
gets into its
government need to
own-
make money through taxes? Or
because the government has
specifically,
to function?
I mean, like, why does it even need to make more money?
Because governments don't produce money.
They kind of need it to get the money in the first place, hence that in the first
A
place.
government needs money to operate. A government pulls money from its private sector.
TLDR, this is too much for kids.
Yeah, government's got to have money. You got to have a military. You got to have research departments. You have to pay federal employees. The government does a lot of stuff. They need money.
They need something.
His argument
Shit,
here is that if
military.
we
How the
increase
hell
the
are
amount
you
of people who are
gonna
working, we're
teach a
increasing the amount of
child
income taxes
to
being collected.
be in the military when
Hold
they've
on,
got
though.
like no experience
yeah.
aside from a single.
Wait. Because we were talking about earlier how, like, children can be exploited and you can just manipulate them easily to just make them work for free. How do they get taxes? How do you get taxes from kids if they don't earn anything?
In his world, they're in this hypothetical, I guess, with child labor, they will get a paycheck every 2 weeks. Like, they'll get paid like normal people, and that is income tax that the government will make. The government will make money off of more people in the workforce.
bringing industry back to America, and I think legalizing child labor would be a huge step in that direction. We could
No, it
incentivize
wouldn't.
companies to hire American children by price matching what they pay kids overseas. 9 is half of 18, so if 18-year-olds are making minimum wage, we could just pay 9-year-olds half. 4 to 5-year-olds would be
But why?
Why would we do that?
Like, I can't tell if this is at every conversation with him, you have to walk into every conversation with Kothrix and be like, is he actually retarded? Like, is he being serious right now, or is he just yanking my chain? Because there's no difference between the two.
Also, 18-year-olds don't work the same jobs.
Yeah,
Like, on what's...
I mean, like, it's like that. I guess he's saying that a minimum wage job the wages of a minimum wage job would adjust itself according to how much money you make, which kind of makes the problem even worse because now not only have you pulled the kids out of school and everything, now they're working for half the money, and that means that it incentivizes companies to hire kids because kids would be paid less money, but they would do a terrible job to the point where you probably would you would much rather have an 18-year-old doing a job than 2 9-year-olds because a 9-year-old at a job is
falls
worthless.
apart on itself.
Oh my god. Gray's like, this Kothism world involved child soldiers.
I mean, the military wouldn't hire kids because they're not competent. That's the thing. Like a job has to hire somebody who can do the job. The whole point of like the hiring process is if you're an employer, you want to hire someone who will give you the most work for the money that you pay them. You're not going to go out and hire kids because kids will give you nothing for the investment that you put into them because employees are essentially an investment. Kids aren't going to give you a return on your investment.
Yeah.
Making a quarter of minimum wage. Exactly sure how all the math works out. We might need to go a little bit lower than that to price match, but they're kids. They don't know.
Satire, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoa!
I guess.
Holy shit!
Yeah, this is
here's the
Trophies.
thing.
We should throw kids into manual or into labor.
Like he's
That just
trying to
sounds
make
worse.
arguments for it, but they're not funny. They're not like satirical. Like what is he satirizing?
I can't
what
tell.
actually
His
is
voice
being
so
parodied
fucking
here?
bland that I can't fucking see any sense of humor.
Yeah, this
and
comes
the
off
video
as
is
just
that-
way
making
too
an argument rather than
serious.
satire.
This video is at 1.5K up, 7.2K down. Like people don't get it. Like
Don't know the value of.
people don't understand that this is satire, which means it's bad satire.
Remember Quentin's satire
even is
video on
supposed to be.
Mahler?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that one.
It's been too long.
Such
And
man.
I
how
heard
come
it's
if it's
really bad,
satire?
though.
I guess. Keep going.
Sorry, it kind of just stopped, so I figured keep going.
Also come at this from the perspective that it would lower crime, specifically gang activity. It's estimated that about 2% of kids nationwide, that's about 1.5 million kids, are involved with gangs. If we could employ those kids instead, we could reduce those numbers significantly. I think this would be.
No, I think the issue isn't that we need to give them something else to do, like working. The issue is that they need to be in school. The problem here is that gangs are, well, specifically with children and gang activity, is that you don't have parents who are making sure their kids go to school. You don't have parents who are engaged in their kids' life. Oftentimes, these kids don't have a father figure, and so they'll turn to gangs and things like that. This isn't a problem that you solve by giving them, like putting them into the workforce. Like
Put them in
your job as a
school,
kid should be going to school.
Jesus.
Like we already have a solution for this. It's getting them in there.
Join gangs out of necessity. They come from poor families. So if we give them jobs, not only does it give them something to do, but it
Or we
just
could
put
just
them
put
in
them
school.
into school.
Just put them in
Well,
school.
here's the thing. You can't say
Jesus.
on one
That's
hand.
too much effort, CAD. We just gotta shove them into workforce.
Well, this kind of goes at odds with what he said earlier. You can't say that here a lot of the reason kids turn to gangs is because they have, they're in low income households, so they need to have jobs. And when you previously just said that the minimum wage for these jobs, it essentially needs to be peanuts. Like,
Right, it'd
you
be
can't say we're
hard.
going to pay them
wouldn't
basically
do
nothing,
shit.
but it will give them more income. You're gonna have to choose one. It has to be one or the other. Your solution can't be at odds with your own solution.
but it also
Did
increases
he
household
even,
income.
Like, look
I
at
think
his draft or his script?
I feel like he just kind of wrote it when it was high. That's my best guess.
I don't know.
Like I
the
read
real
out my
crime here is that poor kids aren't.
Sorry, I was reading out my I read out my scripts
Stoned
because
out
it's
of
like
his mind.
because it's like I read out my scripts, and if I catch myself just saying weird stuff, it's like I re-edit my script so that it comes out better. It's like, jeez.
Guys, just remember, a true Galaxy Brain video, it only requires the first draft. I mean, look at The Last Jedi. It's a masterpiece because of the
Koth
first
has
draft.
become African warlord who's the tar.
Okay, we can
But it
continue.
also increases household income.
Yeah, I clicked it.
I think the real crime here is that poor kids aren't allowed to work, to be honest. A third way to think about this is the effects it would
The
have.
real crime is that kids aren't allowed to work. Kids,
They get like fuck all, even if they did.
Kids don't have bills. Kids don't have a need for income. That's the thing. Kids don't have to pay bills. Kids don't pay taxes. They don't have these responsibilities that you need money for. Kids have everything taken care of in their lives by somebody else. And they're being taken care of so that the kid can learn and grow through schooling, through his parents, to take up the mantle one day of having all those responsibilities and carrying society on, essentially. Like, their job is to prepare themselves for being an adult. And in their formative years, kids are very impressionable. So we need to make sure that kids aren't being exploited.
Percent of the nation under 18.
Gotta teach them all the
by the
things.
way,
Unemployment percentage.
Ab asked, is he making an actual economic argument or just tism? I just joined.
Yes, he's making
you've
an
been
actual
watching the
economic
video.
argument.
And you've been watching the video, right?
Sorry about
Apparently
that.
only just arrived.
He just joined, so
Oh. Well, yeah.
Percent of
He's
the nation
trying to, loosely.
yeah. Well, his economic argument is just becoming tism.
Okay,
under
we can
18,
see.
that unemployment percentage would be significantly lower, just due to the sheer amount of people who do have jobs by comparison. Now, there has
What?
The unemployment is really, especially in America right now, unemployment's very low. So we already have a lot of people working. It's like the lowest it's been in like 50 years or something. Crazy. Is like unemployment's crazy low right now.
So why
'cause
is he
Trump's evil.
arguing for child labor?
So would you have to weigh, if you're going to change something, you weigh up the potential of what you're going to do with what you currently have. And you have to try and convince people that what's going to happen as a result is better than what you already have. And things are going really, really well right now. So you're going to have to make better arguments. It's like, I would feel disingenuous if someone said, okay, try and defend child labor, come up with the best reasons you possibly could to make it work. And if these were my arguments for it, I would feel like I was, taking the piss, and I wasn't actually, going through. Like, I would want to seriously try and see if there were arguments for it that could be made, see what concessions would have to happen, what would have to change. But this is just kind of it's very lazy. It's like he didn't actually think about anything.
I mean, he
Well,
didn't even
that's
provide
not
the link for his 37%, which seems quite stupidly high and unrealistic.
The guy didn't even
Let me
do any
type in
goddamn research.
37% illiteracy. 37% illiteracy.
It was actually 14%.
37% of all the illiterate adults in the world Indian.
Oh, he got it from from the globe.
Oh,
okay.
from around the whole
Wow,
world.
that's-
That's not what that says. Listen, 37% of all illiterate adults in the world are Indian.
Whoa.
Oh.
Not 37% of all adults in the world are illiterate.
Wow,
And
that's
this study
very
says 13.
That's very.
It says.
Well, that's pretty disingenuous.
Yeah. He's. Wow.
The guy outright fucking lied.
Well, no, he didn't lie. I need to know
Oh, I
what
suppose on a
his
technical
source is.
level, but he didn't
Unfortunately,
tell
we
the
won't be able
whole-
to get that source
Yeah,
since he
I'm
doesn't
not gonna
really link
say it's a
anything.
lie, because I don't know what he's referencing. If you pull up a study, if you go and Google something and it turns out you found a bad study and you're reporting it as if it's real, you're not lying. Like, you're not doing it for malicious reasons. You found a bad study, and the study, it's bad study.
It's
You thought
factually
that it was
wrong.
real, so you're trying to you're putting out information that you believe to be accurate. It's not lying.
Fair enough. Although
Fair enough.
I just want to know where you got this number from. I'm curious.
even if he did find a study, at worst, he's just being incredibly lazy and not factually checking all the information to see if there's contradictions or anything like that.
I found an article from
What?
2009.
Coffrey's being
about
lazy and not
Chicago's
fact-checking?
37%
No way!
low
One at a
literacy rate.
time.
Sorry.
Sorry,
Go on,
Rax.
Rex.
You can go on.
Ceasing.
Sorry.
I found an article from 2009 about Chicago's 37% low literacy rate. It's 10 years old, and it says 37% in Chicago, so that's a very specific city. Obviously can't be extrapolated into a larger, especially a country as large in terms of its population distribution and demographics as the United States is. Papua New Guinea. I don't know where he got this number.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I say
Should we
we just
continue?
shock it down. Yeah.
Industrial Revolution, there was an issue where kids were often hired to clean or repair large machines because they were the only people small enough to fit inside them. This led to
No, the reason that it was done wasn't because kids were the only ones small enough. It's because it was cheaper for them to get a kid to do it than it was for them to clean it properly, or to make machines that could be cleaned without the use of children.
Like
It's
people,
like this is a solution to a problem that shouldn't have existed.
people can clean this by disassembling it or just taking
Yes, you
parts
can
of it by
disassemble a
time.
machine and clean it. I mean, this is one of those things with workplace safety standards. It's like if your machine is built in a way that only a child can clean it, there's no way people are going to be buying this machine, because you're not going to put like a machine is an investment for a company. You spend a lot of money to buy a machine that will churn a profit for you over time, and you're not going to put that investment, cleaning it and maintaining it, into the hands of a child.
Let alone the
numerous
fact that it
ins-
wouldn't even be clean, even if this was like a legitimate argument, they wouldn't be able to clean it properly in the first place. Wouldn't the
Or
machine just
efficiently.
get more efficient over time?
That
Because
is
of that?
what I said. Yep.
Yeah.
getting mauled by the machines. It wasn't entirely uncommon for them to lose limbs. This is a legitimate concern because on top of just working in factories, kids are useful for cleaning out ventilation shafts and things of that nature. And it
How do we clean
What?
ventilation shafts now?
What?
What?
Ventilation. How do you clean ventilation shafts?
I'll have a quick look.
You clean your grills, you unscrew air duct covers, you brush grates. I mean, we have ventilation shafts now, and air, like everything that we use now is built around an economy in a system that doesn't have a workforce of children. So this argument doesn't make sense because the current world we live in doesn't have stuff where you need this. It's like, how does he think we clean ventilation shafts today? We don't send kids in there with brooms. This isn't Mary Poppins.
I don't think he does know.
And also, it's like, yeah, they could get mauled and they could get dismembered as children. He's like, yeah, well, that limits a lot of your shit for the rest of your life. Like, you think a guy with or one leg is going to have the same employment opportunities as somebody with two? Like, I doubt it.
You also
Just
think
from
he's
what
gonna
I'm,
clean up a one-armed person is gonna clean up as well as a two-armed person?
Oh, he's got
Of
an
course,
argument
is
for
that-
that.
And when Billy
Does
goes
he?
into the machine and loses his arm, well, now you got to drag Billy out, and then you got to get another kid to go into the machine and then clean up Billy and then clean up the machine.
And then you have to deal with the parents. Like fuck.
Just be
Yeah,
a
it's like
legal
how much money?
disaster.
You have to pay so much fucking money to people nowadays if they get hurt on the job. Imagine paying a child for the rest of their life because they lost an arm. Like you'd have to pay out the nose for the rest of the kid's life as an employer if because of workplace negligence, and any injury that a kid has is workplace negligence. Because a kid is stupid and they don't know how to take care of themselves. So if a kid gets hurt on the job, it is always going to be the employer's fault for getting the kid to do that. So every time this happens, that is a huge drain on the employer's money, and they get absolutely nothing back out of it.
And from what I quickly look up, they just use vacuums. They just unscrew the entrances and just clean the shit out of it. That's
Yeah.
literally it. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, guys.
That's what I said.
Vacuums, we just use kids.
And that's just from a simple Google search, so I have no
It's
idea where the
understandable.
fuck he got this information from.
that there are some safety concerns.
Anyway, let's keep
But
going.
technology has advanced quite.
No!
Okay.
Why would
Oh
you?
my god!
Are you serious?
Well, we have
Do you realize how
prosthetics, so,
expensive that is? What?
a
Okay.
bit since then, at least in the US. Robotic prosthetics are becoming more and more advanced as well as affordable. It won't be long until robotic prosthetics are
Affordable,
seen as
sure.
better than the limbs you were born with.
Okay.
In the near future,
So
Do the
when you send Billy to clean the machinery and his arm gets caught in a wheat husk and he loses it, well, all you have to do, and here's the thing, all you have to do is buy Billy a robotic arm. I'm sure that will be very, very affordable. And not only do you have to buy him an arm, but every once in a while, as little Billy grows, you're going to have to get that little fucker a new arm to fit with his other arm. You can't just slap an adult arm onto him that he hopefully might one day grow into. You have to buy him multiple arms.
And the thing
Because
is,
he's going to grow and get bigger.
Thing
And the arm
is-
doesn't grow.
It also destroys one of his previous arguments of kids who live in poverty because they can't afford a fucking robotic.
still on chat? Oh, okay. I regained connection. Oof.
Give it a second. I'm having a look.
Oh, what happened there? Like, what happened exactly?
Yeah, it's live. Don't worry, it's still working.
Okay. Okay.
I'll even put something in the chat. It should work. There you go. Yeah, it seems working. It's fine.
Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So, do we go on with the video?
Continue on.
If you had to get a
won't be
prosthetic arm
uncommon
like
to-
that, what color would it be?
Black.
Red. Red is kind of cool.
Purple.
Oh, I would get that too. What about you,
I
Rex?
think I'd probably make mine black.
to see people having limbs removed purposefully in order to benefit from the advantages robotic prosthetics can give. I think it's fairly.
There is
What?
no fucking. We don't have anything even close to. I mean, yeah, we're getting pretty darn good, and we've got some out there that are pretty darn good, but we don't have anything that's as good as the real thing. One day in the future, yeah, sure, but now that's getting into transhumanism. We ain't there yet, and that stuff is crazy expensive.
We're not in cyberpunk yet. We're still trying to make it function as well as it can, aren't we?
Oh my god, I'm starting to think of like Mortal Kombat with like Jax having the robotic arms.
I guess the
It's safe to say
robotic
that
arms
kids
that
love-
were really effective when he fucking got killed by Sindel like every.
And plus, like, this is... I mean, this isn't exactly a very attractive thing. So the kid loses an arm is like, it's... You know, that hurts a lot of your appeal for a lot of people. Like, there's a lot of consequences to losing a limb.
This isn't
one of my
Metal Gear
biggest
Solid
fears in the world.
5.
I don't know, this is strange.
This isn't
love
Revengeance.
robot limbs. Full Metal Alchemist, for example, is one of the top-rated anime of all time. And
No!
Oh yes! an
What?
Anime.
Why would you compare an anime to real life?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Where are you guys at? Where are you guys at? I'm behind.
337.
338.
Fuck, I'm like 5 seconds behind. What the fuck?
Rax
Well, here,
is like a
hold
second
on,
ahead.
what's that?
I don't know what happened there. That jumped me back 5 seconds, so... Alright, that's fun.
Is it at
They're on
332?
332.
Mine is.
Yep.
Yeah, mine is also
Alright.
at 332. Okay.
Alright, let's try that again.
robot limbs. Full Metal Alchemist, for example, is one of the top-rated anime of all time. And one of the main quotes from that universe that
as an argument?
Hey look,
He
kids
hasn't-
like
he
this
hasn't made
shit.
the argument. Well, yeah, he hasn't made the argument. So, I guess we'll
like
find
is
out.
the automail. Ask any kid if he would like to have an automail arm, and I'm sure he would tell you yes. It just seems like common sense to me.
Yeah, but
It seems like
common
Kids
sense.
are
Kids are stupid!
Bad
What?
child
kids are dumb. That's the thing. Ask a kid if he wants to be a fucking astronaut. He'll say yes. I mean, kids are stupid. You don't ask kid. First off, you're using something from fantasy as an argument. You're saying, "Hey, little Billy, you want this arm from this work of fiction that doesn't exist in the real world, right?" And yeah, that'd be cool. And then you're like, okay, we don't have anything like that in real life. So if you lose an arm, you're kind of fucked, aren't you?
Like if you ask a kid if he wants to be like a Power Ranger, obviously he's going to say fucking yes.
They'll say yes to anything that they think is cool, and they pretty much find anything cool, really.
Exactly.
The only
What
job
do you
a
mean
kid
it's
would be
ridiculous?
effective at, according to the employers or like the industry, would be like professional movie reviewers or some shit because of clap.
I mean, Kothrix isn't a parent. Hopefully, he never will be. But I would imagine
Well,
that
given how
a
he looks, I
parent
doubt
would
it'll ever happen.
a parent would never go to their kid and put them in a situation where they have to ask, "Hey, if your arm gets chopped off, you'd want this fake arm from this anime, right?" Like generally, if you have to ask that to your kid, you're like, "Why am I asking my kid about what he wants if his arm gets chopped off?" Maybe he shouldn't be in that scenario. Maybe I'm a terrible parent.
Oh
all
god, cough. God damn it.
Which
Like, this is the
prosthetic arm do
closest
you
thing-
want for your birthday, little Timmy?
This is the closest thing that we've approached to like an actual satirical argument, but it's said in such a
Argumentative
dull way.
way.
I don't even want to say straight faced, but just such a dull way that he says everything because this is how he talks.
It's almost
So-
like this isn't satire.
I don't. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I
Doesn't
think
come off
it
as
is.
satire. It just comes off as retarded.
I don't know, man.
If if his tone throughout the video was like more whimsical, I guess let's just say that this part would have been like a bit more like, yeah, that's pretty stupid, that's pretty funny. I see what you're going with, but because, like you said, it's just dull. It just
I mean,
doesn't come off
fuck,
as
I
anything
could make
else,
a better satirical
but just
video on
weird.
this subject.
I mean, if it's satire, you'd want to make points that are funny and entertaining.
You'd
And-
also
but-
want to
but
over
obviously fall
exaggerate.
apart.
Like say, hey, let's eat kids. Do you want to eat kids? I heard they're delicious.
Just look at this movie. It's a
Oh
good
no,
example
little
of why.
Billy lost his arm. Oh, well, don't you worry, because with these super expensive prosthetics that little Timmy can't afford, nor can his parents, he'll be back in the workforce and
Oh god. That moment when you're doing better satire than this. Oh my god.
Shall
not
we
that
continue?
fucking hard for me either. That was like low tier for me.
labor are pretty compelling. I think it should really be taken into consideration. Plenty of countries are doing it and it's working great for them. I think it's time that America steps
Oh
up.
yeah, it's working real.
I've gone ahead
great
and
for
created
them.
a
It's not like a
change.org
majority of them are third world.
Yeah, it's like all the companies who engage in child labor, they're not doing good. So I guess that's like the satire, but it's delivered without any sarcasm in the voice. It's delivered in this flat,
Oh god, he has a
borderline
fucking
monotonous kind of
petition.
thing. Yeah, and then you have a petition here. So I guess it's
Holy
satire.
shit.
Another thing is that he tweeted at Trump as well. You can even see it in the petition.
Oh, man, look at my petition to bring back child labor.
Yeah, he
Come on,
actually
Trump,
went to
don't
Trump
you want
himself.
the
Just
child
added it. Was like,
labor?
yeah, you should definitely consider this.
Oh, this is so stupid.
What kind of name is Ardalan?
Oh
Where's
dear.
that?
I don't think
there it is.
you think that's his real name?
I don't
Wait,
know.
hold on. Wait. Oh, what the fuck?
Sumner.
Sumner. Uh,
Yeah, I guess
Petition?
this is satire. It's just not entertaining.
God, someone just asked me, what if a kid lost his penis? Would you then give him an anime penis because he likes anime? I don't know, metalhead.
We went into territory I
Why
think we
would
shouldn't
he-
have gone.
You really think kids want fucking pixelated?
Pixelated
Nah, just
dick.
do
You really
100,000
think
subs.
anyone would like a pixelated dick?
I don't know, man. Some people would find that very good material. Have
Mostly
pixelated
weebs.
dick as an adult.
Mostly weebs.
Here's a
Yeah.
selection of dicks you can choose from. Pixelated, a black bar, one with like little black bars on the tip.
All whited
Pictures,
out.
we can bring it to President Trump's attention. I feel like
Blurred.
he's the right person for this, someone who I know would really
God
listen
rays.
to it, and that's why I support him.
No, he
And if you want to
wouldn't.
support
88 people pay this guy.
Seriously?
Oh my
Damn,
god.
278 bucks a
78
month.
per month?
Why?
88 people are fucking retarded.
I am questioning if they can understand that
These people are
Do they-
stupider than Mark Brown's
Obvi-
patrons.
Okay, obviously there aren't a lot of people right now watching this stream, but I can't help but be curious to those 88 patrons. Why do you support him?
I mean, yeah, I wonder what they see in this stuff. I've never watched a good Kothrix video. Maybe they're. I mean, sure they're out there, like Broken Clock and all, but
I imagine that
I guess what was the point of this video?
Yeah,
Was it to just stir up controversy, or
attention, maybe.
I
maybe
think
it's
so.
attention?
Because like,
I
what's
mean-
the most topical issue right now? That abortion law in Alabama, right? Because like that's the only thing I remember. Like, I've never heard anybody talk recently about child labor.
I guess because it's related to children, he decided, fuck it, let's do some video like this. I have no idea.
This really should be propped up as like the textbook example of how
How
not
not
to
to.
do satire.
Definitely. And I imagine at least I'm just gonna like a few of those patrons are doing it because they believe it's completely satire, despite it coming off nothing like it. Which I mean, if they think it's satire, fine. I just
They
don't
haven't seen a
understand how the
satirical
fuck you
video
can
in their
see that.
entire life.
Because I mean, the whole thing is we had to get to the end for it to be like, yeah, it's probably satire, like with the anime thing. But you shouldn't have to get to the end of your satire to be like, oh yeah, this is satire. Like, all right, like surely this is like.
Yeah, satire
Like-
needs to have a consistent tone. Who's making that?
Well,
You can't be holding
I mean,
on
it
for
got a
80% of the
consistent
video
tone,
thinking,
but
yeah, this guy's
boring.
actually for real with all this stuff. And then you pull out the weird one at the end to be like, see, guys, it was all a joke. Oh, okay. All right.
I guess you could say it subverted our expectations.
Yeah, I was expecting it to actually be funny.
I wasn't expecting that at all when I first before I even watched it.
My expectations were pretty low from the get-go.
Pretty much.
Support me in what I do. I have a Patreon. For $5, you get access to my Discord, which
No.
is not a
No. I'm sorry.
My
No.
Discord, which is not a cult. Why would you say
$5
that?
fucking dollars to join a
My
Discord.
Discord's free. $5 to join your Discord. Fucking hell. What in there is worth $5 a month?
Cancer,
Like,
probably.
access to you is worth $5 a month. You'd have to pay me $5 a month to talk to you.
called. If you've heard that, it's not true. It's just a perfectly healthy philosophical and spiritual movement.
Oh, fuck
Anyway,
you.
thanks for
Oh,
Fuck
off.
you. It's
Okay.
not a cult. Why would you need to say that?
Philosophical and
I guess
spiritual
that's I guess that's
fucking
supposed to be a
movement.
joke, but we're not laughing at it for the reasons that. That's the thing, man. Like, just because you laugh at a joke doesn't really mean the joke worked.
We're laughing at you, Cough.
You're like, I get what he's trying to do. It's just weird. It's so random and out of place.
It's also executed just shit.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And that seems like the
Yeah.
end of the video. Nothing at the end here.
Yeah.
Not really.
Oh,
All right, that was that video.
Dumbasses.
So, how was that?
It's interesting. What a poor video. What a poorly done video. What a perfect example of terrible satire. I think.
Yeah.
You should just hold it as a shining example.
I'm still kind of impressed that people are like this. The few comments like going, "Oh, it's just satire. People don't get it. People are just getting a bit too uppity about it." It's just like, have you do realize this comes off like nothing like satire,
I think it
and
also has to
that's
be
why
like
people
because
are
he's-
losing their shit.
I think it also has to be because like sometimes he's like anti SJW, so it's like people just follow him for that.
It isn't because you had to get to the Full Metal Alchemist thing to be like, yeah, this is probably satire. You're still not sold because of the rest of the video, but you're like, yeah, this is probably satire. And then even then, you're like, but the whole point of Full Metal Alchemist is that he wants his real arm and leg back and his real brother's body back. So even then, it's like, Doesn't even work.
And to be fair, even I've heard some pretty interesting stuff on Twitter as arguments for different subjects. So hearing that my first instinct is like, yeah, that probably is meant to try to be satire, but to me it comes off across as a genuine argument because I've heard my fair share of
Well,
stupid shit.
90% of the reception I've seen to this video is like people don't like it. It doesn't come off as a joke. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just a poorly done video. All right, let's move on. Video's
To
done.
the
Okay, so
okay.
hold on. For the next topic, so Rags, I know you're not a big fan of fighting games, but every once in a while
I
there's
play
this
basically none.
yeah. But every once in a while there's this talk about having fighting games be played on PC for local tournaments. Now,
Okay.
it's just every once in a while mostly the argument is that console is often better for the tournament setting because it's just easier to handle in terms of logistics.
Okay.
Now, Downward Thrust here seems to have a video about PC fighting games on PC and why they don't seem to work. So, let's see what Tonald has to provide with his infinite wisdom.
So he's saying that PC and fighting games they don't work.
He calls it
Fighting like or
the
specifically
PC fighting game plague.
Okay.
So, there we go.
So working.
Yep, it
There
should
we
be
go.
loading now. I'm sorry, that fucking 8-bit music.
Intro.
Oh my god. Why?
I'll handle the clicking again, I presume.
PC platform. From the arcade to the home console to the PC, fighting games have had a bit of a rough time competing with more popular genres. They duke it out in the underbelly of gaming, in the bottom half of popularity, next to racing and strategy games. The cult followings of many of our
not next to
favorites are
racing.
beautiful things, but the games themselves, they don't sell that well, and that's
Wait. Go back.
games have had a bit of a rough time competing with more popular genres. They duke it out
All right.
So,
Fighting games aren't next to racing games.
yeah.
Why did he say
it's
that
like,
they're next to racing games?
Don't know.
We're on 43 seconds now.
oh.
competing in the deep ocean of our market today
Wait, what did
requires
I
games.
miss? How come we're on 46 seconds now?
Hold on.
Did it jump ahead?
Let me see.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm at 29.
Okay, I'm fixing it.
seconds now.
Hold on. Okay.
All right, so
The cult
everyone's on time.
followings of many of our favorites are beautiful things, but the games themselves, they don't
They don't sell well, and that's a fact. Well, when did this video come out?
2017. Like,
All right. What were the most popular fighting games of 2017? Like fighting games.
2017.
2017.
Injustice
Street
2
Fighter
came out
5,
this year.
Tekken 7, Skullgirls, King of Fighters 14, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Mortal
Kombat X and
Wait.
Injustice 2.
It's not. All right, Street Fighter 5. Let's look up Street Fighter 5 sales.
You said
Uh,
Justice 2 as well.
Street Fighter
Right.
5 sales is so 3 million. So Street Fighter 5 sold 3 million.
Yeah.
Killer Instinct.
And you said Injustice 2 as well, CAD?
Yeah,
That came out
Injustice
around
2
that
came
time?
out that year.
You handle the clicking. I'll have a quick look to see how much that is. How much that sold.
Hold on.
So that's a 2013 game, Killer Instinct.
Let's see.
Was it an
Here we
Xbox
go.
exclusive?
Here we go. So by the end of May, Injustice 2 was the 9th best-selling game of 2017. So,
Okay.
what?
My
Okay, let's do Tekken 7.
can add to that, CAD. Mine, the one I'm looking up, Injustice 2 was the highest grossing game of quarter 2 2017.
Tekken 7 3.0 has passes 3 million sales. That was back in October of 2018. So
This
I mean,
was
it
like
sounds like
2017.
yeah,
But yeah,
no.
his claim is
things aren't gonna sell before they're released. Yes.
And wait, when
But
was
it's not just about surviving on the PC platform for fighting games. It's about thriving. Competing in the deep ocean of our market today requires games to do just that.
Oof, the music.
Or maybe if NetherRealm made good PC ports.
Oh,
Proof is in the pudding. The pudding.
We have
In
seen many
purple.
fighting games attempt PC application, and just as many have failed. Even one of the
What?
most popular fighting game franchises
How?
on the
Street
planet.
Fighter
What?
5 is fine on the PC.
Street Fighter V has crossplay, so it's like you can play on PC and then like another guy can play on the PS4. Well, how does
Yeah.
what?
No, guys, it's totally failing.
What?
Like, I can see you can make an argument for NetherRealm PC fighting games not fucking working well, but that's because they're fucking incompetent.
Yeah. Like Tekken 7 is like one of the better ports on PC. Like Tekken 7 on PC is just one of the better ports. Actually, almost
shit,
all
look
of the
at Soul
fighting
Calibur
games on
6.
PC are just the better port.
Street Fighter struggles to hold on to a mere 5,000 concurrent players at best.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty
Yeah, it's
up there.
1,000
That's
player.
pretty good. Pretty good.
That's not really bad. Also, why
Yeah, I mean, that's
why
definitely
5,000
healthy.
specifically? Why does it need to reach 5,000?
Well, I guess he'd have to, as long as you can get into games. I mean, a game. Well, once you get a game that gets so popular that it's almost like it plateaus a bit. Like if once you get a certain amount of people who are playing the game, that you could always find servers and game modes are filled and you're not waiting in queues forever trying to fill up games, then it doesn't really matter too much from a player's perspective, at least, how many there are after that. Like the differences between 0 and 1,000 are insane. The differences between 3 million and 4 million are probably not going to be noticeable, at least not from the player's perspective.
Yeah.
So, how to? I mean, you should define success. Like when Nerd Slayer talks about death of a game, he'll start off by saying, "Death of a game." When I say that, it means this, this, and this. Like, okay, this is what he means.
Yeah, like one of his
Instead of
biggest
us having
factors
to
is
go,
like
well,
the devs stop what's this? The devs
Making
stop
content.
updating the game. Or yeah, they stop making content. There are no players. Or there's a mass exodus.
Players start leaving the game when content isn't made anymore for the game, which is just natural. I mean, even looking at that Steam thing, there was, even by the look of it, by past October 2017, there still seems like a good couple thousand that was still hanging on.
And Street Fighter V is still in like Evo, like one of the biggest fighting game tournaments. So it's like dead.
Still seems like it's doing pretty fucking well to me.
I could check now and see. Steam charts. Street Fighter 5.
I'm gonna take a stab and say 500 to 700 at best.
Probably.
No, it's 24-hour peak is 1,700.
Not bad.
Whoa.
Wow. I guess it has to do with like
And that's
that
a
big
game
sale
that
they had.
came out in February or March
Oh,
2016.
the Golden Week sale?
I
Well,
think so.
it's past 3 years since the game's been out, and there's 1,700 people playing as a 24-hour peak.
Yeah. And this thing has crossplay, keep in mind. So they'll also be able to play with like PS4 players.
Yeah, and if it has crossplay, then essentially the game never really dies on that one platform as long as you got others to play for it. That there's no effective difference, so that's a strange thing. But yeah, I mean, it back on May 11th, it crossed the 2,000 player boundary. So people are playing it.
It's still getting
Mr.
a lot of attention. So it's definitely not dying. I say that's thriving, considering for what it is.
Surprisingly.
And one of the pioneers of the genre, NetherRealm, damn near gave up on the platform altogether at one point. In April of 2015,
hold on. Can you pause?
Yep.
Like, NetherRealm wasn't the only one that pioneered. You had like Capcom. And,
I think he said one of the pioneers.
okay, fair enough. Okay, you can continue on.
MKX was released on PC. Without a doubt, it was one of the worst treatments of a PC fighting game just ever. I could not believe how bad the netcode was, and it took forever for a patch to surface. Certain fight sticks and controllers didn't work,
Sounds
so
like their
another patch
problem,
came.
not the PC's problem.
Yeah,
it's the
It was just the
developers
devs were
being
incompetent. It's like whenever somebody brings up like,
It's
oh,
not the
this port
fault
is
of the
bad,
PC
that means it was
platform.
bad for the PC. It's like, no, it's just dev incompetence. Like, this has nothing to
Came out
do
of-
with like the nature of fighting games or just the nature of the PC platform.
Well, fighting games are literally made on PC, so it doesn't even work as an art.
Okay,
Bad port is on the devs. That's really all there is to it. I don't know why he would chalk it down to PC.
A few
This
months
is
later to
Eternal
fix
we're
that.
talking
The
about.
game crashed often as well, so then another patch came out to fix.
He doesn't exactly think on the same wavelength as we do.
Yeah, but it's entertaining.
Very much so.
Tonal.
Fix that once again. The Sky Arena was also off limits unless you like playing with sub 30 frame rate. To put the cherry on top, NetherRealm abandoned support for the game a few months later in January of 2016. Many of the DLC characters and fatalities
Can you pause?
never got transferred.
But they fixed it. They
They're
fixed
all
it.
out now.
They fixed it. They fixed
Like,
MKX.
XL, the whole thing is like done. I've got it on PC. I've played it. It's fine.
Well, was it fixed after he made the video?
Also, does he get to it? Because if I'm not mistaken, he might actually mention XL right after this point, saying that they did return at a later date.
Also, this is the
Because I
only.
mentioned they added the patches with all the DLCs and shit during 2017, was it? Because if I'm not mistaken, it was 2015 MKX released.
Also, this was like the only fighting game that had issues on PC. Like, if you go to like Street Fighter V, that also released on PC. The thing is, it was like the best port for Street Fighter V. Because when Street Fighter V
That's the
launched,
first part I played of it.
yeah, when the Street Fighter V launched on the PC, the PS4 version, for whatever reason, had like 8 frames of input lag.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, it became like a meme in like the fighting game community.
That's gonna suck.
They fixed it eventually, but it was like, oh my god.
My fucking Christ, I didn't have that version at the time.
Okay,
To PC from console versions during this time. Thanks for your money, PC isn't working out, goodbye. Even though much of this stuff was fixed later on, Mark It Down is one of the biggest PC fiascos of all time and the reason for the marred reputation of WB Games on the PC front to this day. It was of course primarily because of this. Mortal Kombat.
Well, that and Arkham Knight, but that's, as I said,
That's
the
really
debt
just-
on the devs.
that's really just dev incompetence. Like, what?
You know, people didn't want to play a broken
Maybe
game.
if they maybe if they started making good PC ports, they'd be things.
Yeah, it's
would-
kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy here.
pretty much.
So far, NetherRealm's too busy fucking up their own story.
Their own story,
Oh my
their
God.
own fucking towers, everything. Like
Yeah.
MK11's just a fucking mess.
Numbering in the few thousands, even right after its launch. Would you be surprised to hear that the game has sold over 1.1 million PC units? Building PC ports and online services are
pause?
very expensive.
So people buy them, and the company got all the money, made a shitty.
And also, they
All
got
right.
the money. Like, what?
Yeah,
Why should it matter to the devs if like they play or not? They got the money.
yeah, they have the money. It makes it viable. What you're doing is you're hurting future installments by putting a bad taste in people's mouths. But that's on you for doing that.
Yeah, that doesn't really say anything about the genre, does it? Oh.
Now, guys, the devs aren't incompetent. Fighting games just don't work on PC. Listen to me, the Lord Tony.
The Galaxy Brain
did he say that
intellectual
fighting
gaming
did
community.
he
Ah,
say
fuck,
that
I
fighting
forgot
games
to
don't
add
work on
random
PC?
pauses.
One at a time.
I don't think he said fighting games don't work on PC.
Oh, fair enough.
I didn't hear that either.
True.
He still got a whole video, so who knows? Maybe he'll bring it up, but I doubt it.
Okay, let's
And
continue.
require a return on that investment to justify their continued support. Many fighting games follow a similar, abrupt downward trend, which is why you see very few PC fighting games these days.
So he's saying you see very few fighting games these days?
I think he
Actually,
said
there are a
you
lot
see
of
very
fighting
few
games on
fighting
Steam.
PC
How did we
games.
skip from that to 251?
Did it again?
Did we? I'm on 249.
I'm 240.
Oh,
It just skipped to
bloody hell.
It just skipped to 251.
Maybe you should go back, Rags. You should be the one to handle that.
I mean,
Like,
I
go back.
I gotta go back a certain amount though, so it kicks in.
Yeah,
So at 240.
there we go.
Abrupt downward trend, which is why you see very few PC fighting games these days.
Hang
Hang on,
is that
let me
251 for
look
me.
at the genre.
Facing the numbers.
The process of getting a green
What time are you guys on? Because it didn't.
I'm
Nothing
at
changed for me.
256.
256.
258.
Whoa.
Oh boy.
What about
How's
you?
that?
What about you?
247.
What?
Yeah, it's having a fit. It kind of just stopped at 251
Then
for
reload.
some reason, then jumped a little back.
Let's go back to 246. Why isn't there?
It's 253 from. Here we go.
Yep.
246.
All right, let's see if
Is
that
it at
works again.
246?
Yep.
Rags, is it at 246?
Yeah.
Mango?
Mango.
Oh, it's at 246. Sorry.
Alright, let's try that
trying
again.
to look at the amount of fighting games that there are on.
Random gameplay. Very nice, I guess.
The process of getting a green light for a PC port is often found in the ROI, or return on investment. Typically, fighting games begin as console ports.
phrased.
At some point during development or pre-planning, a team will estimate the earnings for a PC port and do what's called income projection. This trend identifies the potential income stream after all expenses have been paid. So basically, the profits or losses associated with having an additional port, in this case a PC one. If the projected profits are equal to or higher than projected costs, a PC port should be considered.
Thank you for
Now keep in mind these are what are called
Wow. Duh. Fucking duh.
thank you for teaching me basic economics, Donald.
If you don't think you're gonna make more
What?
money, but
What?
anyway,
Why
Yeah,
was
no
this
fucking
needed?
called economic profits, or final profits after all expenses have been paid, so even with an economic profit of 0, it would warrant a PC port. Now of course, there are other factors at play too. Is a PC port feasible with a team's budget and schedule? Is a PC port good for our brand? And do we have enough resources and talent to carry out the project? The latter
Hold on.
question
Hold on. So I have one counter for that. So what if you're an indie dev? Because like there are a lot of indie fighting games on Steam. So it's like what's this? So many of them just release it on PC rather than like on console.
Yeah, I mean, look at Bem's Fighting Herds and Skullgirls.
Look at Punch Planet. Look at the Rivals of Aether.
yeah,
Putty.
when you put your game on a console, there's a lot of strings attached.
Yeah, you have to go through like you have to sign contracts. You have to just there are many. Ugh. And then it's like even with the patches, you have to have like Sony and Microsoft confirm that these patches are allowed. On PC, it's like you can just release it.
It's going to
There's
be
not a
even
lot of
harder
barriers at
to
all.
make. You'd have a lot more restrictions on like the PlayStation 2. What with Sony's new policy?
Oh God, Sony. To
I
think
fucking
that they'd
hate them
actually
as a
just
company.
to think that they just became so SJW. It's kind of funny.
Didn't they move to California?
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember when
There's
they
your
were,
answer.
remember when they were trying to brag about being mature, and it's like they don't
They
allow anime
unironically
titties.
used the hashtag MeToo movement.
Look how that
as
worked
the
out for
reason why they
MK11.
did-
The Me Too movement. Oh my God.
Oh, and then they used the please think of the poor children.
Yeah,
Hey,
think of the
Cad.
children. Don't let's forget the fact that we have E ESRB.
We can't have them lewd games. Oh no.
Yeah, but
Little
guys, haven't
Timmy
you
might
bought your
use
kid
his
like
mom's
Call of Duty?
credit card.
Jeez.
Nah, violence is totally okay. Who cares about
Okay,
I remember
let's go.
something you said ages ago, Rags. Free the titty, was it?
Yeah, free the titty.
I'm down for it.
Free the titty, everyone. Hashtag free the titty.
There we go. Let's get it trending on the stream.
Does open up a pretty interesting can of worms. PC ports often do get butchered by inexperienced development teams or shipped off to be created by another development studio.
That's
It's
not
common
the
to
fault
see
of
the main
PC
developer for a
platform. What? What? So bad devs automatically means that a platform is bad? What? Like, Days Gone released as a buggy mess. Does that mean that the PS4 is automatically a shit platform?
compared to the PC.
Well, obviously not. Like, there's a shit ton of other products that are very well crafted, even for the PlayStation.
Because it's like, why? What? How is this a solid argument?
It's probably just Turnald's brain.
See, he's been drinking not enough intellectual milk, gentlemen.
Intellectual milk.
Brain milk.
Brain milk.
Game never touched the PC code. Case in point, Injustice 2. Injustice 2 was to be a console exclusive as well. Only recently did we receive the announcement of its PC port. I'm excited because Injustice 2 on PS4 was incredibly fun and well made. As for the PC,
Where's this information coming from? Like, how did he conclude that originally Injustice 2 was just going to be launched in consoles only, or like on consoles first?
I don't know.
We could take a look.
I'm gonna have a quick look.
Let's see. Injustice 2 PC release. Injustice 2 coming to PC. PC version coming out. There was a on October 24th, it gets a surprise release to PC. So I guess originally it wasn't supposed to be.
Ah, okay.
I'm not finding a lot. The only thing I can find is that
Some
it
polygon.
released a few months later in November of 2017.
Yeah, NetherRealm's DC fighting game gets a surprise release, and this article was made on the 24th, and the release date for PC is the 25th.
Ah, okay. I get it. So I guess they wanted to capitalize on the holiday sales.
Maybe, maybe it was a quick decision that they made, or they didn't know about it ahead of time. So it's rated pretty highly.
That's a good start.
Well, yeah. Seems to be what the case is.
Anyway,
Bit
continue.
surprised considering 11. Mortal Kombat 11, and it isn't because of just the port alone. Besides
Yeah.
missing a
Well,
patch or two
We've already
behind
discussed
PlayStation
about
for a while.
MK11's awful.
Yeah, I'm going to be reviewing the shit out of MK11. Just oof.
I can't wait.
Anyway, go on with the video.
PC version, I have tested it, and I can assure you that we might be in for another fiasco.
PC port hurdles. Okay.
Hurdle.
Shady netcode is the grim reaper for fighting games, the vulture sitting patiently on its shoulder. It is imperative that a fighting game runs
Vulture sitting
smooth
patiently on
and
its
lag
shoulder. The
Wait,
fuck?
how do console ports not have this worry either?
That's not just a PC port issue though. Like, you need to have good.
Exactly.
That's a
didn't say that.
fighting
He didn't
game
say that.
issue. Like, if you
CAD,
don't have good.
CAD.
Sorry, you don't have just.
I
it's
didn't.
just-
He didn't say it was like.
He's right. Everything he said was correct.
Yeah, it's right, but I'm just wondering, like, isn't that just
the
an issue
vulture
for
thing
all
is
of
just
them?
weird.
Ugh.
free. Or else,
Damn it.
what's the point? Have some lag at the wrong time and it will jack up your combos and your frame timing, potentially losing you the match. Having your opponents warp around the match as well, because of his cardboard internet, isn't fun either. Infrastructure needs to be put in place to minimize these interruptions, and it has to be good.
Peer-to-peer.
Sorry.
Well, that's just peer-to-peer and bad internets.
Pretty much.
No, it's not just peer-to-peer. I mean, the netcode is a generalized term for a lot of different things that kind of come together. But you can have
Oh, okay.
you can have dedicated servers that have bad netcode.
Proper display information needs to be provided to players, showing the connection strength of their opponents. If it's crap, we deserve the right to opt out of the match, or better yet, set minimum connectivity standards for matches. These are basic things missing from so many fighting games today.
I think those are missing from all games, like shooter games.
Fighting games
Like, I
kind
want to
of.
know what people's pings are.
A lot of fighting games actually have that. Like, you can set standards as to, oh, what kind of connection quality do you want? And then it'll look
Good.
for opponents that have that kind of connection.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's like, I don't see why that's an issue.
And as long as it isn't too broad, like I remember an old Black Ops 2 back in the day, it would just give you a very broad kind of thing like, oh, do you want to connect to the bad ones to get quicker games, or do you just want the best one? It doesn't really give you specific options. Be nice if a bunch of games did that, though.
Anyway, continue on.
Hurdle number 2, a lack of crossplay. If the implementation of crossplay, regardless of genre, isn't the biggest oversight in our industry, I don't know what is. Crossplay allows different players from different systems to play with one another, but we all know that is an incredibly rare feature in video games today, and there are big reasons for it. The obvious one is of course money, but one of the biggest ones people forget to consider is community management. Online communities at large cannot really be controlled. For instance, Sony has an obligation per the Terms of Service contract on the PlayStation Network to protect consumers and their personal and financial information. By allowing crossplay, Sony has just no way to manage the interactions of its customers on any external influences,
Can you
such as
pause?
players gaming on Xbox.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, because they're still playing your game.
Here's the thing.
Doesn't
Here's the
matter
thing.
what.
Here's the thing. Many of Sony's games, they have crossplay on like the PC ports. Like all the
Yeah, like
PlayStation
Final
ports.
Fantasy.
Skullgirls.
they're
Street
MMOs.
Fighter 5. Oh, Skullgirls
It's-
has crossplay between the PC and PS4?
Yeah, it has like it
Huh,
had that like
neat.
since the PS3.
Oh. I didn't
And
know
the
that.
issue is pretty much just whether or not they want it to happen. Like, it's from a technical standpoint, I've heard it's insanely easy to have crossplay. It's just a matter of whether or not publishers will allow it.
And it also depends
That
on like.
or
And I know
that
that
or
it's
the
in like
platform
the.
person.
Sorry, you go ahead first.
You
Shana.
first.
Okay. So I know he's talking about fighting games, but it's also genre dependent because it's like with shooters you don't want crossplay.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's co-op.
Well, if it's co-op, yeah, okay, but
I mean,
like
if
PvP
you have
shooters.
cross-play in shooters, that's fine. Just allow console players to opt out of it.
That'd be one of the better options.
Yeah, makes
But if
sense
it's
to me.
cooperative games, it doesn't matter quite as much. If it's a game like Vermintide or Left 4 Dead, it's not as big of a deal. But if it's something like, like an Apex Legends or Titanfall or something like that, then there's all these balance issues that come, with the peripherals. But with the fighting games, fighting games are one of those you're like, man, it's kind of the perfect sort of setup. They're very, very simple
Yeah,
in that sense. So
and the thing about fighting games, the input devices, the advantage that input devices have, they're very niche and character specific.
Mhm.
Like some characters work better with an arcade stick, some characters work better with a keyboard. Like I remember Desk had like this trick with Guile where because of like the keyboard, he could do like a walking sonic boom where he still holds back, but he can hold forward to walk. And then it's like when he does the sonic boom, he just lets go of the forward motion.
The only kind of argument I can ever really think of against it would be that, depending on the game, of course, and genre, it'd be a massive advantage even if it was in co-op. One would be able to kind of say, let's just say Vermintide, that'd be probably a bigger advantage to the PC, but even then it wouldn't really be a problem.
Yeah, it's not like it'd be like a game-breaking thing. Like every once in a while, I'd play Vermintide with a controller, and I did fine. But it's definitely better to play with a mouse and keyboard. But you're all cooperating, so it's not like you're trying to get a competitive advantage over each other. Yep. So I'd be fine with that. I mean, it's always good to have the option to just specify that it's your platform alone.
Anyway, let's
Xbox Live or Windows systems. Fraud protection
slow,
must be shared.
that's all.
Server management too, and technical capabilities normalized. All things that take crossplay to a very difficult place. However, the implementation of crossplay between a console and a PC is very doable because, of course, Windows is an open platform. But the biggest obstacle by far is reputation, especially with Sony. The PlayStation 4 has a commanding lead in the console video game markets, and providing inter-system support to expand its player bases by helping its competition is simply not necessary. Nor is it very smart at all.
But they have it on their games.
Developers want it because it doesn't matter where it sells; it's a sale.
And they have it on their games. Why are you making this argument? Oh my god!
What's 2017 kind of around the time that a lot of people are getting kind of up Sony's ass to try to add crossplay to a lot of games?
Well, I think
was that 2018?
That was 2018, and the argument was they didn't have crossplay with other consoles. They only had crossplay with the PC.
True.
For the sustainability of video games among all consoles and PC, they should really be thinking less about their pocketbook and their image, and more about what is the right thing to do.
What?
The last hurdle to PC fighting.
Well,
I mean, I won't expect a company to do the right thing if it comes out of like it literally just like if they know that a game is gonna sell, is not gonna be worth it to put on a platform, I can't blame them for not putting it on the platform. There are some obligations that they should be required to meet, regardless of whether the costs are there or not, especially if you've made these promises. But I mean, I won't expect companies to do things that are too stupid.
it's like okay.
Just gotta. Well,
Fighting games has got to be evolution. Fighting games can be fantastic, but how much can new video games, new fighting games, innovate? And I mean really innovate. You have two characters and two life bars. No matter what way you slice it up, the story ends the same way. Super meters and features aside, Street Fighter today plays
Does
out
it in the
pretty
same
much
way?
the
It's
same
not
way it did
And I guess you're gonna have a winner, but I mean, we can extrapolate that to every kind of game.
Yeah.
Pretty
Like
much.
shooters, you shoot them, they shoot you, and then one team wins.
Also, he's about to say like
Games, you have units, I have units,
he's about to
team
say
wins.
like every Street Fighter game is practically the same, but it's like it's not. Almost every Street Fighter
They're
game is
not,
different from
though.
each other. Like
I mean, it
even
depends on how much you want to reduce a game to its most basic fundamental components.
it's
to
like
streamline it essentially.
Like all games are the same. You just press buttons and watch things happen.
Streamline Shadow.
So streamlined.
Yeah, but it's tonal we're talking about.
It's just a weird word. It's just a weird word.
Why?
20 years ago. Of course, the genre has evolved greatly. Mortal Kombat with the graveyard and the story mode, introducing spectator modes, multi-character battles, meter management, and advanced technical systems of the games. This is
So hold on. He gets to say that Street Fighter games are just all the same, and then he says, "Oh, but Mortal Kombat's different. It evolved." It's
It's the same basic fundamental though.
like what? How come he gets to decide like which game is considered the same and which game is just considered evolved? Like,
Honestly, like this is coming from an outsider. I'm pretty sure Street Fighter would have had to innovate regardless to try to keep fans both engaged and wanting to come back and not having to having them complain that it's the same game every fucking time.
yeah, like
I mean, even the Call of Duty fucking changed up once the World War genre got old.
Like the focus system was only introduced and only in Street Fighter 4. It's not in Street Fighter 5, it's not in Street Fighter 3, and it's not in Street Fighter 2. Like,
This is all great stuff, but also the reason why fighting games are in the bottom 3 genres of popularity. And what I mean by that is, if you like fighting games, you buy them. If you don't, you don't. Unlike other genres, there's really nothing new offered in fighting games these days that turn those naysayers into buyers.
if you like it, you buy it. If you don't, you don't. You can apply that to any game. You can apply that to
Pretty
any
much.
genre. What?
I don't know, man.
Like you're not
I
gonna
like
expect
Risk of
anyone
Rain.
who,
I buy it.
you're not gonna expect anyone who isn't into action games to just suddenly buy action games easily.
And and mind you, the bigger point would be is that he's saying that none of them has like changed, so that's why it's partly reason that it's at the bottom of the kind of bought games.
Ooh. Oh, tonal.
I mean, I'm not a big fighting guy person, but even I can notice some changes with some games, like with Injustice and pretty much any NetherRealm title, because they're the only ones I get. So, for example, but still, I can still see some changes into it. I don't see where that argument can really hold up. They have to change or they get screwed. I mean, shit, look at Call of Duty. How many are just the same ones over and over until they have to change it? They don't just make it interesting so they can always get more. They just
The Blaze
have
Blue
it pretty
games
much the
keep
same until
changing-
it's
They just stick with the
Blood
formula,
dry.
pretty much.
The Blaze Blue games just keep changing almost every single version. Like especially with how
Yeah,
they
pretty
handle
much.
defensive options. Ugh. Continue.
I might venture to say that MK Story Mode might be the one thing that did in the last couple of years, which may have resulted in its 1 million plus Steam sales.
But they didn't sell on PC.
Why?
Alright, it's just weird that I just thought earlier he said that they don't sell on PC. And that's a fact, he said.
Yeah,
Millions a
just-
lot of sales.
Yeah.
That's a lot of sales.
that ain't no small feat. That's pretty good for a fighting game genre from the look of it.
Yeah, how many years did it take for Skullgirls to reach 1 million sales? Like I think they only reached it in like 2017 or 2018. Jeez.
PC fighting games are fighting an uphill battle. To those that love them, the optimal way to play a fighting game is not on a computer, but instead on a big-ass comfy couch and on a big TV.
But you can do that on a
No!
computer.
No! But no, you don't want to
It's
play.
like a console peasant argument.
Also, you don't want to play on a big screen. There's so much lag in that big screen. Ah.
Mind you, it's also a preference as well, so it's not really
No,
kind of a
lag.
fact. It's just
I mean,
what you prefer.
Objectively, objectively it's better to play on a computer monitor.
That too.
You can prefer what you want, but objectively, computer monitors are better for gaming.
Like, you go to a fighting game tournament, they'll almost always want to bring TN panels because they have such
you're
low input
cutting out
lag.
CAD.
Oh, sorry. It's just in fighting game tournaments, they almost always bring TN panels because they have low input lag.
I just
I
don't
didn't realize input lag was connected to TV screen.
I mean, like, I get it if it's like suppress, like either picking it from objectively on a which monitor or TV or whatever. It's just I don't really get how he. Maybe I just misheard it. He's practically saying that it's meant to be. So I just find that completely strange.
Yeah,
for me.
Meant? Like, how is it meant to be played on a big ass?
I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, sure, if you enjoy having it big, like having it on a giant screen or whatever. Like, I remember seeing a couple that were like the ultra wide kind of screens, and it just shows the rest of the arena, but it's like dead space. So it's just like it's not even needed for some of the TVs anyway. It's a lot better as well, as you said, Rex, to either play it on monitor or even as just a preference, just a smaller screen or something that's not gonna drop half the lag.
Also, a lot of fighting games on PC have less input lag than like their console ports.
Yeah, like Street Fighter 5 when it launched.
Well, the more frames you have, the less input lag there is too.
True.
And the more frames that you can see, like one of them is like you have the lag that's the technical side, which is the actual in-game, response to what you're pressing, and then you have the visual aspect of what you see as a result. So it's kind of two parts to it.
Okay.
PC fighting games need support, they need crossplay, and they most certainly need some polish these days. When developers dump shitty PC fighting game ports on Steam, it just sends a message to the industry: stay away from PC fighting games. And I don't want that because we are part of the community too. This video has presented the
I mean, Street Fighter still has a 1,700 people.
Take note of the games he brought up: Street Fighter 5, Mortal Kombat, and Injustice 2. He doesn't bring up Tekken 7. He doesn't bring up like Killer Instinct. He doesn't bring up King of Fighters 14. He doesn't bring up Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And then he doesn't even bring up like the indie fighting games on Steam.
And mind you, he still picked ones that are going to be popular regardless. So I don't see how they can, like really lose with it. Pretty sure there's plenty of people right now with Mortal Kombat 11 on PC, even with its shit ton of problems.
Yeah.
the foundational arguments surrounding PC fighting games, and only that. At this time, I'd like to end the video by asking the very question titling the video. Can a fighting game not just survive, but thrive on the PC? Comment down below, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Clearly.
Have a great day, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace, love, and happiness, guys.
Peace, love, and happiness.
Fucking consistent with him.
Oh, the Trigun shit. But it's like, oh wow, what a nothing video.
I feel like I just wasted my time on this with this video, honestly.
Anyway,
You know, I'm kind of starting to see why these downward thrust videos are more entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like absolutely horrendous and awful as Cost was, but it was still a nothing video. But I got some ironic entertainment.
this game is dying, but it sold well.
God damn it.
I mean, to bring it up again, Street Fighter's still thriving quite well on Steam alone.
Like the only games I actually imagine struggling, the only fighting games I imagine struggling on PC are like the more anime fighters, like say Blaze Blue or Guilty Gear, and like even the less known fighting games.
What about Dragon Ball Z Fighters?
A Fighter Z.
Fighters
Wasn't
is
that
still,
pretty much a hit?
yeah, Fighters is actually doing really well, especially with like I think they just recently released Kid Goku from Dragon Ball GT as like a DLC character.
Didn't that come from nowhere practically, or am I not remembering it very well? Because I don't remember seeing a lot of ads for or anything about Dragon Ball Z
it's like
Fighters
they need to
until it
find
kind
a
of
way
just got close.
Fighter Z, Shadow. It's not Z Fighters.
Oh yeah, my bad. I'm used to calling it by the show's name, Dragon Ball Z.
Anyway, so the next one we're going to be covering is actually going to be an article. So you know how like Epic Game Store had like a huge sale, apparently, quote unquote, a huge sale where almost all of their titles have like $10 off.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, because of that, there's some publishers actually pulled out of like Epic Game Store because it's like we don't want it. We still want more money.
Funny how that
How
works.
dare you have a sale?
Yeah, who do you think you are, Steam? Who do you think you are, GOG, Humble Bundle, Green Man Gaming?
I'm a bit
Actual
surprised they pulled
storefronts.
out though. I mean, Steam has like bigger sales than, like that can range from like 10 to as high as 80 for some games, so that just surprises me
Yeah, and
that
here's
they
the
pull
thing.
out.
Here's the thing with that like Epic Store sale. It's flat $10. And it's only up to like games that are priced $15.
15 and up.
Yeah, 15 and up. Sorry, Tism.
Yeah. Wanna show us the article then?
Hold on. Okay. So, just take note that the author is Nathan Grayson. Yeah.
I don't know
who's
who
he?
that is.
If I remember
Shouldn't-
right,
it shouldn't matter for this article.
yeah, just take, yeah. But it's like, yeah, for if I remember right, Nathan Grayson was like one of the people who was kind of like the reason why Gamergate was a thing. Like,
You keep cutting out.
sorry, if I remember right, he was the one who had like the affair with Zoe Quinn.
Was he?
Anyway, let us go on with the article. Publishers pull their games from Epic Store during its big sale. So, earlier today, Epic once again took a page from Steam's book and announced the mega sale. Quote unquote mega sale, because $10 is apparently a mega sale. That includes both percentage discounts. Oh, so they did have some percentage discount. And an additional $10 off every game priced $14 or $15 or higher on the Epic Game Store. It seemed to be smooth sailing for the sale, but then two major games suddenly vanished from the store. So the first one is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. The upcoming action RPG disappeared first, and nobody was quite sure what to make of it. It was briefly available for a discounted price, but then suddenly it was gone. So trying to access the game's store page currently returns a 404 error. An Epic representative told Kotaku that Vampire the Masquerade publisher Paradox chose at the last second, or after the last second technically, to not participate in the sale. If a developer or publisher chooses to not participate in our sales, we will honor that decision, the Epic rep said in an email. Paradox Interactive has chosen to not participate in the Epic Mega Sale, and the game has been temporarily removed from sale. If you've purchased Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 during the period when the discount did apply at the time of checkout, Epic will honor that price. Shortly after Vampire exploded into figurative cloud of bats, Epic director of publishing strategy Sergei Galyonkin made a similar comment on the Russian site DTF, which the Epic representative confirmed was accurate. A little later, Galyonkin made another comment on the same site, saying that he initially thought Paradox was aware of how the sale would affect its games. But after a little investigation, it turned out that I was wrong. Paradox would not
Paradox.
go into, yeah. Oops. Paradox would not go into specifics about why the removal happened when it did. But a representative pointed me to a thread that included Galyonkin's comments. The publisher also provided Kotaku with a statement. We are in discussion with Epic regarding the temporary removal of the Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 from the Epic Game Store. Read the statement. The game will return to the store soon. Wow, that's fucking convenient. Like, imagine just, oh, a sale is coming up. Oops, we gotta hide our game.
Sale.
That looks pretty fucking terrible for like the publisher
There's
if
a
you're
lot
gonna
about the
pull that shit.
company and the publisher.
We don't want to do these sales. That doesn't get us enough money. We want all the. But that
Don't
seems
have
really
enough
stupid
money.
when a
We gotta
discount
take
draws
more.
people in because, fuck's sakes, like, they do get how this works. Even if it's like a small sale, there's still people who go like, oh, it's $10, $10 off. Yeah, sure. I might get a game after all. It's just I don't see why they would pull out. This seems like something they just would get plenty of more people on.
Because money apparently, it's like,
The irony, though, is that they're not really gonna make money if they just they pull it out of the sale. Because, like I said, there's gonna be people who are gonna probably look at it at that cheaper price.
this is the
Seems
thing. This is the thing
pretty
I don't
dumb.
I don't understand about like game devs and publishers. It's like they want to make money, but then it's like they don't make decisions where the consumers are actually happy, and it's like, or it's like at least when somebody tries to make a quick buck, it's like they don't think about like the customers, and it's like because of that they, ironically enough, don't make any money. Like, look at Steam. It's like they always think about like the consumers. So it's like it's because of that they have so many users. They have so many people invested in Steam. Like they have so many people having a shit ton of games in Steam.
I mean, a majority of the publishers went on to Epic's thing due to a lot of like. I'm sorry. I guess. Well, I noticed like the whole like opt-in reviews, the fact that they were optional,
Ooh.
doesn't exactly give me a good look at these like publishers. Like, it seems more like they care more about just making as much money as possible, and they don't care about the consumers at all.
Which is ironic enough because it's like my current job is I work on like online retail, so I have to deal with like customers. I have to learn how to satisfy their needs because it's like it affects our sales, especially when we're like a small startup company. Like,
Cut out for a bit.
oh,
Still there, Cad?
Sorry, because again, I work on like online retail, so. And part of my job is also learning how to deal with like customer demands or customer needs. It's like when they have an issue with like my product, I try to help them out with it. So, and it's like because of that, it gives a good impression of the customer. It leaves a good impression on the customer. I'm sorry. So,
Which means they're more than likely to come back and continue shopping in that, well, online shop.
Yeah.
or in the store itself, possibly, depending on products and stuff.
Yeah.
Make the customer happy, they're more than likely to return. It's not really that hard.
Or it's like if I make a mistake with their order, it's like I do the correct order and then add something else to it for free, so that it's like, oh, they made a way to make up for it.
Oh, hell yeah, I like this place. They either give me stuff in a really nice, they're really nice and give me what I want quickly, and even if they muck up, they give me something for free. I'll come back and shop there if I was shopping at wherever you were working.
And it's like, uh, it's like these game devs, or even these game publishers, don't even know how to make money or don't understand why pro consumerism is good.
Is good, yeah. Well, we still have Steam and it's still going strong, while Epic is still getting a ton of flack.
Anyway, any purchases.
Hopefully they can.
Sorry, go first.
The only thing I hope for Epic is that they improve eventually, which I doubt it will anytime soon, but hopefully for the future they'll actually attempt to do good instead of continuing down this road of just stupid shit.
I'd consider going to Epic if they actually improve themselves, because it's like, that's their problem. They're not improving. They leave a bad
Just keep
taste.
buying more exclusives and not actually use that money to like improve her.
I mean, shit, when you don't even have a shopping cart, to the point where someone on Twitter kind of like complained about how it like tagged his account for something, like treating it as a fishy thing, even though he just bought like 5 games.
Yeah, that was Angriest Pat, right? Or something.
I think so.
Like, imagine, like, I want to buy 5 games. Oh, I don't have, and because they don't have a shopping cart, they just think that there's suspicious activity with that account. When you think about it, it's almost like a scam. Because it's like they get money from you, and then they almost have plausible reason to think that you're scamming them, or you're trying to do suspicious activity in their store. Anyway,
Shall we continue on?
yeah. Any purchases made while the game was discontinued during the Epic Mega Sale will be honored.
I think you mean discounted.
Any purchases made while the game was discounted during the Epic Mega Sale will be honored, and no masquerade violations will be assessed. The other game that was pulled was Space Station Survival Sim, Oxygen Not Included. The Epic Game Store page for which also gives a visitor a 404 error right now. Developer and publisher how's this? Klee or Cly?
I say Cly.
Cly Entertainment has yet to comment on why this happened. Kotaku reached out to Cly Entertainment for more information, but it has not yet responded.
Responded.
Yeah, responded.
Would you like me to read some of them?
Yeah, go on to the "It's worth noting" paragraph.
Alright. It's worth noting that neither of these games are Epic Store exclusive, which could put them in an awkward spot on the other stores. The structure of this sale, after all, is unusual. The additional $10 off priced $15 and higher comes courtesy of Epic, meaning that Epic itself is taking the monetary hit, so companies like Paradox and Cly can't easily match those prices on Steam. In Paradox's cases, it's doubly dicey, seeing as Vampire the Masquerade isn't out yet. Why pre-order if anywhere else if Epic could, theoretically, discount it again before its release? Some people have pointed to regional pricing differences, that's a clickable link, that would have led to, in practicality, large discounts on an unreleased game in some territories as well. Epic's bouncing baby store has had other first-time mega sale related hiccups as well. Hades, the early access roguelike from the makers of Bastion and Pyre, was briefly priced incorrectly at $7, and development Supergiant corrected it with a confusing increase not only to the game's sale price, which is now $15, but also its base price, which was $19, but is now $25.
Ooh, that does not leave a good impression. Like
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
for a long time, it was priced like that. It was like, did you not?
Why would you not fix it? It just comes off as like, oh crap, the consumers are gonna get it for less money. Quick, increase the.
Uh,
Now,
Anyway,
guys, this is totally the intended price.
this was all intended. It just works.
oof.
Anyway, continuing on. We apologize for any confusion this caused and hope customers who got the deal enjoy the game, Supergiant said on Twitter. The corrected sale price is still a 25% discount off of the original price point. The developer also addressed the increased base price, which some users viewed as an attempt to sell the game for a higher amount than a 25% discount would otherwise imply.
Hold on.
We raised the...
Hold on.
Yeah, come on.
They said 25% discount off of the original price point. But then it's like the base price of the game is now $25. So which original price point?
That's a good question.
Right?
Anyway, continue on. We raised the list price based on continued improvements and additions we've made so far in early access, Supergiant said. We think this price point reflects the game's current value. Customers can get the game at a lower than ever price for several weeks. That might
That's bold.
that's isn't that what Ark is like?
Uh,
Oh,
Yep,
Rags
that's
left.
Rags.
oh. Anyway, let's
Eh.
continue on for now.
Oh well.
Oh well, see you, Rags. Have a good one.
Yeah, bye, Rags.
Anyway.
Where were we? This is not at all an uncommon practice with early access games, but it's rubbed some fans the wrong way in light of a pre-price increase comment from Supergiant earlier today, in which the developer said it would announce something like that well in advance when asked about a Hades price increase on Twitter. It is to an extent understandable that the Epic Game Store wouldn't nail running a store-wide sale on its first try. After all, it took Valve ages to get Steam sales, right?
Oh, he's
Oh,
back.
and even
Hey,
then,
Rex. Did something
I
happen?
guess my Discord.
Oh.
My Discord did something weird, I guess.
Oof.
yeah, just internet shit probably.
My
Hold
internet
on.
was fine. Just Discord.
Oh, that's strange.
Anyway. Yeah, Discord's tismy. It always is.
Should I start from where you disappeared, Rags, or just continue from where I'm kind
You
of
can
at?
just go ahead. You can just go ahead. I'll catch up.
Okay. After all, took Valve ages to get Steam sales right, and even then, Steam still regularly goes down at the outset of big seasonal deal extravaganzas. But this comes on top of Epic's bare bones feature set, other assorted errors, and unpopular penchant for snapping up exclusives.
Okay, so here's the thing. When Steam had those problems, it didn't really have any much competition at that time. It was like, when did GOG come out? When did Humble Bundle come out? Like 2015, 2016?
I honestly can't remember off the top of my head.
And it's like,
Think so?
and even then, like, when those games came out, when those store platforms came out, like, they had the things that Steam needed when they first launched, or it's like the things that Steam eventually got, to be more precise.
And this is like the last kind of mini paragraph that's left of this. Watching a company with all the money in the world stumble through the process of launching a store doesn't inspire much faith in that store's future prospects. Oh boy, definitely. Even if the roadmap ahead looks significantly more acceptable than the pothole-ridden road we're on right now. And that's the end of the article.
Yeah.
The rest is just comments.
Oof.
Well, maybe they could have like done this sooner if they stopped fucking buying a bunch of exclusives and actually use it to improve the platform at a much better rate.
But
Hell, maybe even better in some regards.
Features
for-
don't
against
matter according to the Epic defenders.
Oh.
I just find this silly because it's like, why not just continue making first party? I mean, you had a giant success with Fortnite. Why not just continue making first party exclusives, rake in more people from that, and use the money to, well, continue your platform and then have some for yourself? Like, wouldn't that be a win-win?
Like
They
they're
don't have to spend all this money because it's not going to work forever, and it's going to actively cost them more than it's going to benefit them. Why not
They're-
just improve it now, and then there will actually be proper competition to some degree against Steam if they just fucking put it towards, let's say, I don't know, fucking shopping cart for a start? That'd be a nice.
or opt-in user reviews.
That is just stupid in its own right, because I don't like the fact that devs can just
Sorry.
use it,
Was it-
on and off. Just
was it the
it's
one-
going to be used as like,
All right. Opt-in user reviews. What was that other one?
Yeah.
What was the opposite of it? Or just community user reviews. You there? Oof. Just
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking of opt-in user reviews. Just
there's only the opt-in ones to have devs show it if they not. And in all honesty, plenty of devs are just going to show it as like, look, our game's good, and others will opt it out if it looks bad. What's the point of a review then? It's pointless. It has no use if they just pick when to show it and when not to. You might as well not have it at all, or just have it so it's always there for every single game, no matter what. It's just silly.
and that's the thing. What's this? Epic Game Store, it doesn't really have regional pricing, and because in my case, the only reason I'm still using Steam to this day, or the only reason I'm so heavily invested in Steam, is because just the games are so much cheaper on Steam.
All right, it's because of the regional pricing for you, isn't it?
Yeah, or at least for me. Hold on.
For me, I get fucked anyway. Games are like $90 to $99 even on Steam.
Jeez.
Hey Rex, mind if I ask? Have you seen Fringy's and Vito's little conversation on Twitter? No, not Twitter, or seen it around from other people?
Seen some of it.
Oh, the one on Epic Games.
Yeah, because I saw. Well, I had to work around it because Vito blocked my ass when I criticized him.
Yeah, he blocked me
That's
too.
Vito for you.
Anyway, to the point.
Try not
Is
to think of Vito much anymore.
fair enough. I'll keep it short then. I remember him going back and forth with Fringy, and at one point he was like saying something that got him a lot of people going, "Hey, hold on a minute." He deleted it, but then grabs Fringy and another person, and say, "Look at these people so triggered." It's like, really, Vito?
Yeah, he acts like a child,
Oof.
and he'll delete his tweets. When someone quote tweets him, he'll delete his original tweet,
Yeah,
and
because he
then
can't
he'll
back by.
go
He
to
can't
the
back it up.
tweet thread and he'll say, "Oh, what happened to the tweet there?" And it's just incredibly immature, extremely childish, and that kind of stuff just makes me not want to associate with people.
Yeah, it's
You're
It's really
you're just
bad
acting
faith.
like a
Heaven
fucking
forbid you
asshole.
consistently criticize him. He'll call you a fucking stalker if you do it.
The only other thing that I saw, and then I'll stop talking about it just to keep it quick, is that he retweeted someone that was like criticizing him, who even added him, but he didn't reply. He just retweeted it, and then his followers kind of just came in.
Yeah.
So he just kind of used Twitter and just got his followers to try to dogpile.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
I don't
like-
know if dogpile. I mean, it's just mostly them saying, "Yeah, that's so a Becky thing," or "Okay, Becky." It's just like, okay,
It makes him. I mean, their behavior makes him look worse.
yeah, pretty much.
Because it's like, that basically means he allowed it. He allowed that kind of behavior. So, all in all, Vito, I know you're not probably watching this, but you're a piece of shit. basically. Now,
Yeah, amen to
For
that.
someone who wants to try and grow his channel, he's doing his damned hardest to try to push away as few friends as I guess he had.
I was actually
That's
interested in
odd-
his
that's
channel.
Odd strategy.
anyway,
I was actually interested into it until he does this old shit, and then it made me actively avoid it.
can you go to Steam? Look at like the store page and look at like the most
Alright.
featured. Do you see like a game like
Okay.
Dragon Cliff?
Dragoncliff.
Dragon Cliff. Oh, the one on sale.
It's on special offers. Do you guys see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Why?
Rags? Do you see it?
Do I see?
Dragon Cliff. It's on Steam special offers. It's basically just
Yeah.
for an example. Because
$5.
it's like for me, it's basically 145 pesos, which is an equivalent of like $3.
It's cheaper for me. It's $4.99.
$4.99 here.
Yeah,
wait.
$4.99.
Wait, yours is the same as mine? I thought I was kind of expecting yours to be like $2 because Australia usually ups the price compared to America. Huh. That's a surprise.
And it's like hold on. Can you look for this game? Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle.
BB Tag, sure.
I'm guessing you're showing examples of like better regional pricing and the discounts, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm pretty much showing that. Scroll down and look for like the deluxe edition. I'm curious about how much it costs for you guys.
$99.95.
Sorry, Rags. How much does it
game?
cost for you?
Which game?
Okay.
Blaze Blue
Hang
Cross
on,
Tag Battle.
I'll get the store page onto.
Blaze Blue.
Blaze. Let me see. Do
Is it one word?
It's in the
$49.99.
chat.
Alright, easy.
Okay, do you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm on it. It's got $49.99.
How much is the deluxe edition?
$69.99.
Because mine is basically the deluxe edition. It's priced at me for an equivalent of $28. Because that's that's basically the thing. In the case of like GOG, it's still it doesn't have regional pricing. But it's like with Steam, because they're really big now, they're able to back up this regional pricing. And it's like because of that, it's why I end up being invested in Steam.
There's a lot of other things to be invested for in Steam as well, which, let's face it, has been covered many times on something like EFAP and stuff. Everyone kind of just knows there's a lot of features that attracts players towards Steam anyway. Epic is just bare bones, as bare bones can get so far.
Like they don't even have cards.
I don't have anything, practically.
Like I don't understand because this is the thing with the Epic Game Store. I don't understand how you didn't study your competition, or how you thought, oh, these features are important for a reason.
I mean, they made Fortnite during the fucking time of like Battle Royale. Why not just do the same thing with that game and just rip off Steam a bit and add some different shit to it to make it different? I mean, they took just basically the formula of PUBG and then just kind of went, yeah, we can make a Battle Royale. Let's do it. Fuck it.
And we'll add building. It will make us unique.
How hard is it to do that with a fucking platform?
Because that's
Just
basically
take
how you
the
compete.
essential, at least
try-
the essential features, and then change it up a bit. Boom, new platform, easy, right?
Yeah, that's basic competition for anything.
Shouldn't really be this fucking difficult. But then again, you gotta have that exclusive stuff. Gotta force people to come over there within the year or 6 months, depending on the game. But it's So dumb.
Ugh.
Anyway, was there anything else you wanted to talk
Wasn't
about,
it, weren't we
CAD?
gonna cover that second Kothrix video?
If we wanted to, if I... You guys up for that?
Not really.
No,
Alright.
I've been no, maybe another time though,
Fair enough.
because I haven't seen it yet, so I'm curious what I'm curious what he might say on that.
Makes sense.
And
Save it for another time then, as you said. Alright.
Yep. And I'd also like to use some of this time to record for my Devil May Cry 5 video. So thank you for everyone who was just watching, and until next time, which I don't really know is when, since probably every once a week or every fortnight or something. I'll see.
Whenever we get around to it.
Yeah.
Around that.
Just remember, chat, subscribe to Rags if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Makes great videos.
It's all shit.
And Shadow, you have like a channel, right? Do you want to say like do you want to promote it, and do you want to just give a reason as to why people should support you, or should
If you
subscribe
like
to your channel?
a dead ass channel with like 2 shit videos and a potential video that I might actually get any motivation to do it, there's your reason.
Mango, do you have anything you want to promote?
Not really. I don't have anything to promote.
Anyway, in my case, yeah, I also like to work on reviews, although it kind of just takes me for fucking ever to get them done. But I'll also be trying to do these podcasts and streams as regularly as I can. So subscribe if you want to follow up for that, if you want to follow those. So good night, and see you next time.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye bye, people.